Hey, Kess, how are you doing? First of all, second of all, thank you so much for the raid. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to. There we go. Now you guys can see me. Hey, hi, how are you? Yeah, wow, that was a very unexpected but very efficient raid time. Give me 1 sec here. Candace. Oh, Candace was already just sending out the shout out. Thank you very much. Playing. Oh, you're still doing Baldur's Gate. Excellent. So did you let's see here. You were in Baldur's Gate. I watched you at some point this past week. Which one were you doing?
Hello, dear.
Were you playing
Of course it's on Google.
Throne of Ball, or were you doing? Are you starting all the way at the beginning, Kess? Either way, it's pretty awesome. I mean, what a great series. No, oh, okay, so you are. You're going through one enhanced edition, and then two, and then what is it? Shadows of Amn, followed by Throne of Ball. I think is how the series goes. Either way, super awesome. Super. I mean, great game. Absolutely one of my favorite game series of all time. And for you to show so much love and bring your Raiders over. On that note, for those of you who are here and might not know me, I am DM Xavier. I obviously run this channel here. We usually most of the week I play with Nerdy Knots, who is currently Doc on our little Roll20 setup here. We usually play MMOs, turn-based RPGs, strategy games, things like that. However, on Sundays we play Dungeons and Dragons, and that's where you find yourselves tonight. We are in session number 48 of Unlikely Heroes, which is our campaign that we've been running for almost a year now. It's amazing. It's been awesome. So, yeah, thank you for being here. Please note that while we play, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to chat, so it's actually a really great, I mean, almost ironically perfect time to raid, because now I will chat with you before I jump over. But anyways, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to chat, but the folks here, the players do pop in and out of chat, so if you have questions or comments or anything, they usually are capable of jumping in and out. And then, yeah, I'm obviously always available on Discord if you have any questions or anything like that. So, hi, Rose, how are you? Thank you for popping in and being here as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to jump over to the crew really quick. We're going to do a session recap from session 47, which was last Sunday, and then we're going to dive into it. We'll talk about XP really quick, set the scene, and then we're going to jump in. This could potentially be a really cool session. There is potentially going to be an autopsy being done on a little creature known as a Jvart. The anointed one, the special one, or the warlock. And there is also potentially going to be a very wonderfully performed monologue slash story from one of our players, our bard Gray, to a crowd of, well, we don't know yet, but we'll see how well he did as far as his marketing was concerned. Anyways, thank you again very much, Kess. I look forward to catching more Baldur's Gate content. For all of the raiders who are here, I encourage you to click that follow button, because it doesn't cost you a dime, but it does help me out. And if you enjoy the content and want to drop a sub, cool. Definitely appreciate that. Okay, Rose, thank you very much for being here as well. I'm going to turn it back over to the main screen, and yeah, welcome you guys in. Ooh, Jvart. A couple streams ago, we were talking about how D&D doesn't use some of those obscure creatures so much anymore. You know what? True story. I mean, I occasionally use goblins, orcs, gnolls, ogres, things like that, but I love the weird ones. Jvart are one of my absolute favorite because they're just so creepy. Even in their creation, they were just a very, very creepy little creature. And then I like the more obscure monstrosities like gorgons, Grix of alpha variety, and the little worm versions, the grublings. Yeah, so if you hang out here in this channel, I promise you'll see some weird shit. We've also been doing a lot of content with The Lost, and if you're not familiar with the series of creatures called The Lost, you should definitely go have a look at them. I tweaked them just a little bit for my own sake and for my own story, but it's yeah, there's a lot of similarities. So anyways, we're going to pop back over to the stream, and I want to say thank you again to all of you who are here and hanging out. Okay. All right, guys, I am back. So, really quickly, oh yeah, when you log into Roll20, I don't know about you guys, but I had a note pop up immediately from Beyond 20 that said that they had an update. So just in case that does pop up on your end, you know. Seems to be working. Beautiful. Okay, so really quick recap from last session. So last session we picked up at the very tail end of you guys being inside of the iron mines in Underhill, excuse me, and that is over here to the northeast. So you you gathered all of your belongings, you gathered what you could as far as loot was concerned, some of you more than others, and then you had a quick conversation with your new ogre friend who said he knew how to get out of here, it wasn't a problem. You guys convinced him to kind of hang out by the bridge, and you were going to talk to some people in town and see if you couldn't maybe try to find him some sort of work in town with these dwarves. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, so you guys left, you got to the top, there was a quick conversation between you guys and the iron mine guards, who were in absolute disbelief that you had even reached the surface again. You then found out that one of the guards had gambled a very large sum of money against you, and it turned out that he was possibly an addictive gambler, lost everything, he had twins at home, and while Gray laughed and pretty much said, "Enjoy the streets, you piece of shit," Doc's sweet little golden gnomish heart bled coins into his palms, at which point they had a almost borderline supernatural minor encounter. We'll call it an encounter within an encounter. Very Inception-like. So after that happened, you guys went to the Ore Master's Fortress in the north central part of the town, met with the Ore Lord, and you guys decided that you were going to obviously collect your bounty, which you did. Doc got a nice little pair of spectacles, and then you collected your coin from the actual bounties that you had. But after that, you asked this guy if you could perform an autopsy of the Jvart anointed one that you had picked up from the mines. He said, "Look, I would love for you to be able to do this, but I don't have anywhere for this to happen right now, and I want some of my people to be available for that as well, so we'll keep them on ice, essentially, and how about you come back tomorrow?" After that happened, the Ore Master, the Ore Lord, and Aurora had a very brief conversation, very brief, very quiet conversation, very quick conversation about the scales on the palm of her hand that he somehow sensed. Within that conversation, he pretty much said, "When the autopsy happens, I want you to come back too. There's somebody I need you to meet." And she was like, "Oh, okay, this just got really fucking weird really fast." So from there, you guys left the Ore Master's Fortress back towards the House of the Dwarf Lord Inn, which is on the far central eastern side of town. Got back in. Actually, at this point, Gray had already been there for a while. He was going through his lines, practicing for his performance, which was coming up in just a couple of days. During your guys' interactions there, not a whole lot really unfolded at that point, except for the fact that you did discover that there was quite a fair share of loot inside of the portable hole that was found, and Gray was able to decipher the script on the kind of inky dripping, the shadowy dripping, like shadowy essence dripping scroll that had been found in the Jvart quarters of the iron mine. So we had left off pretty much right at that point. I believe you guys were actually just about to bed down, as some of you were still not doing completely perfect. I'm looking here at my notes. Yeah, nope, that was pretty much about it. There wasn't a whole lot else that happened outside of that. Some minor in-between conversations, but it was a great roleplay session. So, Lady would like me to say hi for her, especially to you, Lucy. Oh, look at that sweet baby. Gosh, she's so cute. Okay, so, and she's very excited now.
She is willing to commit murder because it's been fun for the past. So.
Well, she's very happy to have you back. Okay, so with that being said, session 47 ended as follows. Roleplay experience. You guys did absolutely fantastic, and it was a very roleplay heavy between multiple characters and multiple NPCs. So everybody got 825 roleplay experience for the lot. I just wanted to make a quick note on two pieces here. First of all, the Aurora and Meepo interaction. Interactions, as it was kind of a small series of interactions. That was 200 of the 850, and the Doc and Aurora conversation, very heartfelt, also net 200 XP, not included. This is already included in it. I just wanted you to know that there was that I had notes on here for that shout-outs, essentially. So, with that being said, Gray, 23,846 XP, Aurora, 22,834, very close, and the rest of the party, 25,648 experience. We are picking up today, day 20, which is the 20th of Mugem at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. All right. Any questions before we dive into it? 23,846, correct. Okay. With that being said, let me go ahead. We are currently in the House of the Dwarf Lord Inn, in your guys' main room. Just a reminder, it had been brought to everybody's attention that tonight, the night of the 20th, was the last free night that you guys had been gifted from the tavern keeper.
Do we have enough money to pay these people?
I don't know. I'll check.
All right.
Raise their rate to a couple thousand tonight.
Well, once they realize what high-class citizens they have staying in their suite, maybe. All right. So we pick up in your room. What would you folks like to do?
Is this the morning?
We hadn't actually decided on sleep yet, I don't think officially, but if we are going to do that, is there anything anybody would like to do before a long rest?
I did hide the Doc's gift, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's got that box full.
Yeah, Doc kind of rolled over and hugged her backpack. She's kind of mopey and sad.
To be honest, I half expected to say I hit the body.
We only did that once.
Once so far.
What's the thing I love?
That's true.
Yeah, Aurora is going to just, I mean, I know I was doing the acclimating to the dwarf. I didn't know there's squeaky toy sounds. I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's fucking adorable, so.
Yeah, you know. She would like to play. She says, oh, rangers need animal companions. She volunteers. But I was acclimating to dwarven presence, and I will make sure I get food because we haven't eaten properly since we went into the mines, and then I'll do an inventory check in the supply room and then go the fuck to sleep.
Okay, I apologize. I did not have my audio turned back on. I just did that. I could hear you, but can you just repeat your order of events for me, please?
Okay. Acclimating to dwarven presence, which we did last time.
Yes.
Getting food because we haven't eaten properly since we went into the mines. Doing a supply an inventory on the supply room, and then going the fuck to sleep.
Okay, perfect. So a bunch of those things we can do as like an abbreviated roleplay and say that, yep, everything is still in the room that you had left. Everything you guys had left is still there. It has been untouched. In fact, your passive perception shows that the room hasn't even been cleaned, which the other days that you have stayed here, somebody has come in at least once a day and cleaned it. When you guys left this last time into the mines, nobody has touched shit. No one's even touched the door. So it's fine. You are given food, as that was included in your free room and board, and the bed is as comfortable as ever.
I love when things go smoothly and quickly. It terrifies me because I know it won't last
Because
long,
you know
but-
something's coming. All right. Anybody else? Anything that they would like to do before they bed down for the evening?
I guess as Aurora pops back into the room, I almost said she again. Aurora pops back into the room. Gray will kind of look like he had an idea, and then go, Monday night, would you mind if I borrow your tooth? No one's gonna touch it except you, I guess. But I just want to put it in the
Well,
see.
Maybe. Depends on how well your story goes.
I kind of wanted to start this. 'Cause nothing brings questions
Alright.
like a big fuck off tooth.
That's a pretty fair fucking point.
All right. You're lonely, but all right. And she does say that with a smile. I mean, she's possibly not serious, but you know, it's her.
No, that bitch is serious.
Gray's gonna look like, the second you said yeah, he just kind of went back to like, I guess, staring at the wall. Going back, I guess, in his mind, he's going over his lines again. So honestly, his face is just completely blank as we didn't hear you.
Okay, Doc and Ree. Ree, anything special tonight?
I think all she was gonna do was, she went back to the bar, grabbed a meal and an ale, and then took a bath. And then after that, she probably would have drip dried back to the room.
Okay, yeah, and the bath is absolutely wonderful, as it was the last time. It's almost like you could get used to this sort of lifestyle, and, you know, it might not be the same out in the wilds.
As people do like their luxury. Not so bad, I guess.
Very important question.
Yes.
Do you drink soap this time?
No, I think last time somebody helped me with the soap, right?
Yes, that's correct. There was an attendant that assisted you with it.
Yeah. I imagine Rhea like reaching for the soap to like put it in her mouth, and the attendant's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" No.
Yeah, a very unintentional, like, almost like mom smack on the hand. You know, toddlers, like, putting a fistful of hair in their mouth and like, no, what the fuck? No, that's from the dog. What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm kind of new with this whole cleaning thing. Glad
And-
you don't eat it because it tastes terrible.
Wow, you are new to this, aren't you? Why don't I do this? Why don't I give you some instruction on how to properly clean yourself so it won't be so confusing in the future?
Ah, yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
So the female attendant, the same female dwarf that's been here, who actually, she's the one who lugged the fucking barrel to your room the first time. She goes through step by step, and it's just 3 simple steps. Step 1, lather. Step 2, stinky spots. Pits and crotch. Stinky spots, pits and crotch. And she does like this little triangle on her body. And then she says, step 3, just rinse. And that's it, you're clean.
So you don't eat the soap.
No, don't eat the soap. It will make you very sick.
Do I drink the water? What do you do with the water after it's done?
Well, we drain that into the gutter system and it goes into the sewers.
Seems kind of wasteful.
She kind of looks at you cockeyed and she says, you know, that does seem rather wasteful, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll maybe fill up my flask with this stuff and I'll save it for later.
Maybe we should boil some of the filth out of it before you go drinking it.
I guess there is a lot of guts in this one.
At that, she looks fucking appalled, and she very gently hands you your sponge.
Thank you.
Alright, Doc, anything that you are doing tonight?
Just to, like, in her mind, she'll pray to Garl and she'll just say, please help me remember why I'm doing this, and please help me see the luck through the misfortune that I continue to encounter, and then she'll go to sleep.
Okay. There is a peace that comes over you when you pray. It's not some big, moving religious experience. But as you finish your actual prayers, the calm kind of comes over you. You look down in the dark of your room, and you notice that the nugget flashes just once, just like a firefly. It's like the last firefly of late August, the final blink for the season. You just get that little poof, and then it's gone.
She'll put both hands around the gold nugget like a river otter and like a rock or something, and then go to sleep that way.
Awesome. You know what we need to do is get you some clams to smash with that thing.
Clam to eat on your tummy.
Middle of the fucking fight, she's on her back, just beating clams with the fucking gold nugget. I'm hungry. No, seriously, there's got to be a pearl in one of these, and I need it for my spell. Okay, I digress. So, for the sake of brevity, everybody falls into a deep slumber. And nothing wild or traumatic happens throughout the evening. Which, again, is rare.
I don't know if I trust it.
Oh, come on. Oh, yeah, I guess you do know me well enough,
I've
don't
kind
you?
of happened.
I'm also hearing the echo of rabbit screams. I don't know why.
Oh, God. That wand is fucking terrifying.
Ugh.
Okay, so you all, yeah, so in our Saturday game, the group found a wand of fear, and instead of making it just any regular skull on the end, it's a rabbit skull, and when you activate the cone, it's just the screams of tens of thousands of rabbits. I couldn't think of a scarier fucking sound.
That's amazing.
When my poor little Sybil tried to attune to it, I got horrific rabbit nightmares, rabbit screams and death sounds, and then I woke up and drowned. So
That's true, you did. But it was totally worth it, because at the end of the day, although you didn't impact that many enemies, you impacted enough.
And also our barbarian.
And the barbarian, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, definitely wasn't intentional at all.
Right. Okay.
No grudge there or anything.
Why, cripple?
So you all awake the morning of the 21st. It's the 21st of Mugem, Saturday, the 21st of Mugem. Your free room and board is up. This is your morning to quote-unquote check out or pay up. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. You all come to. Go through your regular early morning routine. So we're saying 9 o'clock is when you are done with your prayers, your stretches, your push-ups, whatever the fuck I don't know. I'm assuming that Gray would probably be tuning his drum and making sure that it hadn't gotten too fucked up the day before.
Yeah, and probably also checking like his hand drum.
Yeah, and everything, it all looks great.
Ree does her 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 100 sit-ups in the morning.
You feel strong as fuck, boy.
Gotta keep myself limber and strong.
Doc,
Get the run.
Doc does, she does her prayers and then sees Ree and does like 3 push-ups. And she's like, no.
Break the plane, pussy! One. God, you're terrible at this. Sorry, I'm a little bit militant.
Oh god, yeah, that just sent me back about 12 years.
Sorry, I gave us both flashbacks.
All right, so you guys finish up, clean yourselves up a little bit. What would you like to do? Just for the record, so that you are aware, and as a reminder, friendly DM reminder, Monday the 23rd, there are a few major things for you here in Underhill. First, it is the day that Gray is expected to perform his stories of the unlikely heroes. I'm not sure what the performance is titled, but that's what I have it listed as here. And also, Ree's Maul, Dire Ape Tooth Maul, is said to be done and enchanted.
Oh shit, fuck yeah, my maul!
On the 24th, which is Tuesday, Doc is expected back at the runesmith to receive her celestial rune tattoo cure. So, what would you like to do?
Well, Doc will start by, how much Does anybody remember how much the rooms were? I guess I paid for one, right? But that was the
You
same
paid
room.
for a very tiny one. You guys
Yeah.
never discussed the price for this room because it was given to you as essentially a prepayment and a gift in anticipation of Gray performing on Monday.
Do we know how much longer we're gonna need to be here? What, another like
I was thinking 3 days.
3 days?
Is everybody okay with me going to pay for 3 days at this room?
So just for the record, today is Saturday. That's 1, Sunday 2, Monday 3, Tuesday is your tattoo. So if you want
We'll do
to,
4, yeah.
I mean, if you want to pay for 3, just know that you won't be staying the night Tuesday, and that's fine. If you guys do whatever, I mean, I'm not trying to push you one way or another. I just want to make sure you understand the math.
I mean, we could always just buy the hotel, right? I mean,
No, I don't think so anymore.
oh. Thought we had like millions and millions of coins.
There's lots of coins in there, but they're split multiple ways now.
Oh, right.
Gray, do you want to owe the rest of us once I find out how much it's going to cost, or do you think you're going to earn another free night here?
I have no idea.
Nah, I bet you're gonna earn another free night.
I'll go find out how much it costs.
They're gonna love you.
Doc will
Talking about how you arm wrestled a bat.
go to the
I arm wrestled
tavern.
that.
Well, choked it into flying up where you wanted it.
Oh, arm wrestle a bat sounds a little cooler.
Okay, Candace. So you go out to the innkeeper. He's there going through his morning routine. He's actually got this massive silver tray with this like really ornate ivory lip around the edge carved into what appears to be very small elephant tusks. They kind of curve up. It almost looks really like necromancery, but in a very eloquent way. Like, you know, he was a noble before he turned to the dark side. But anyways, he's got a huge serving tray laid out, and he's carrying wooden bowls out onto the tray. And he's got about 20 of them on this tray, and people are filtering in and out to eat. As you approach, you realize that the entirety of the tray is filled with small bowls that have eggs Benedict in them, with some sort of white sausage-like gravy over the top.
I'm hungry now.
I actually just, for real, made myself hungry.
Yeah. I also realize I don't think we ate dinner. So Doc will
Nope.
walk up to him and she'll say, "Good morning. I see you're busy, but when you're done, I'll meet you at the bar."
Oh, no, my dear. No, it's fine. Please, come. Have a seat. Can I interest you in breakfast?
Absolutely. That looks amazing. But we're also
He sets a bowl down in front of you, gives you a fork.
Thank you. We're also going to need to stay here a little bit longer, and I wanted to make sure that we paid up for that. So I was thinking maybe 4 nights for that same room if possible, and the other one.
4 nights? Obviously, that would be for the larger of the rooms. Is that correct?
The larger and the smaller, I guess.
For both of them. All right. Give me just 1 second. He pulls out a small piece of parchment, and he flips it over to the backside as there is some scribbling on the front, and he takes a quill and he starts doing math. Bear with me for 1 second. Are you going to want your meals included?
Yes, please.
You said 4 nights, and that's for all 5 of you. No, 4 of you.
Four
Sorry.
nights. Mhm.
Right, so for the 4 of you, for 4 nights, plus food, we're looking at 64 gold pieces.
Okay.
Are you going to need bath tokens? I've noted that your goblin friend has been taking a few dips in the pool.
She does seem to enjoy that. Is that something that has to be purchased up front, or could we purchase them later?
No, you can purchase it later, it's no problem.
Okay, we may purchase that later then. But yes, so 64 gold.
64. It's 16 gold a person for, obviously, the 4 days.
Okay, so Doc will hand over the 64 gold, and just so everybody knows, I'm going to be subtracting things from everybody.
He double checks the gold and he says, "Oh, it's just lovely. Thank you very much for your patronage, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday. We've got quite a crowd who's been coming in daily asking about your fallen angel friend.
In a good way or a bad? Well, it doesn't
Oh, in
matter.
a very good way. Everybody's very interested to see what such a dark force has to say about such a strange, unlikely group of people. Heroes now, especially amongst our own folk. That's something the dwarves couldn't do, and you roll in with a halfling, a gnome, a goblin, and a fallen angel, and you manage to take care of business we couldn't do it ourselves. Very interesting.
I'm interested to see what he says too.
Well, hopefully it's all good things. Unfortunately, our crowd is known to... Well, let's just say we've had 6 performers here in the last 7 months, and 2 of them have lost limbs from an angry crowd because of jokes that were maybe slung one way or the other, in fairness or in unfairness, I suppose, towards the dwarven people.
Maybe I'll make sure he has some jokes in his. I'm just kidding. Yep. So food for everybody. They should be down here pretty soon, or out here pretty soon, for breakfast. I appreciate it.
Wonderful. Oh, one more thing, dear. I'm going to go grab a couple of bowls from the back, if you'll excuse me, but before I go, he starts scooping the coin now into a very large, almost like bread sack, and he ties it off. Somebody had stopped by here, I believe it was yesterday, but I may have been the day before. I apologize. Things have been kind of hectic since you arrived. No offense, you've actually been great help. Man wearing a dark green cloak, sat just at the end of the bar there, points all the way down towards the southern end of the bar, like kind of where you would walk around to go behind the bar. He said to tell you... What did he say? I tell you what, give me just a moment. I'm going to try to think of what exactly he said. He paid me 5 copper for it, so if I don't get it right, I'm going to feel horrible. He turns, throws the bread sack over his shoulder, walks out of the room and back into the kitchen.
Okay, I want to look around and see if I see anyone with a green cloak on right now,
Okay.
or if I recognize anybody. I guess.
Sure, go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
19.
So there's only about a dozen people in here scattered throughout. Now, mind you, the interior of this tavern is actually pretty fucking big. There's, 20, 25 tables in here, which for a tavern is quite large. Or for an inn, excuse me. It's not just a tavern. You don't see anybody you notice immediately or anybody that fits this description. However, as you continue to look towards the far southwestern corner of the room, which is near where you would, like, check in or get a table, it's like where that little desk was when you guys very first got here, you do notice there is a half-elf woman whose other half is dwarf, and you recognize her immediately. As soon as your eyes catch for just a second, but hers glance down back at her food before you have a chance to make it awkward, and you feel your heart start to race, and you recognize her as one of the, as the only, I guess, bounty from when you drank from the Crimson Cup.
Can I insight check her looking away to see if it's like like if it was like a look of recognition when she looked away, or if it was just like she was kind of just doing her own thing?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Go ahead and make an insight check for me. It's a good question.
It's a 6.
You're not entirely sure. The one thing that, from a 6, here's what I'll tell you. You do happen to be the only gnome in the room.
Okay.
For whatever that may or may not be worth.
I'm gonna let my eyes linger on her for a couple minutes, like trying to be nonchalant about it, kind of just darting around, but always coming back to her to see if she looks at me again at any point, and then I'm just gonna try to keep her in my peripherals.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
I get that I didn't. Well, I don't think I'd be sitting there with my glasses on, so I'm not gonna get in.
And not just that, but you need to read your glasses. It's only things that are being investigated at a distance of 1 foot.
Close, yeah.
Come on, just stand right in her face and look at
21.
her.
21. So as you watch her and begin to study her, you notice that every 20 seconds or so, and she's having a meal with a couple other people, they all look to be guild artisans of some sort. They're not wearing any heraldry that would tell you that, but just the way that they're dressed, they're a little bit more dirty, a little bit more worse for wear, but they're still keeping themselves upright and professional, which within the dwarven culture you've seen so far tends to be the artisan caste. you see she glances up out of the corner of her eye almost every 20 seconds and looks at you, but I mean just for a half a second. It's almost instinctual for her and unconscious. She's not doing it on purpose. It's like she's just keeping an eye on you out of the corner of her eye and in the back of her mind.
Okay.
So about that time, the door swings back open, and the barkeep, the tavern owner, the inn owner, comes back out, and he puts his hand down on the counter in front of you, and he says, he said, "Grace be light to those who give grace light." I don't know what it meant, and I sure didn't ask any questions for 5 copper. But there you have it.
Okay. Will that translate in thieves' cant to anything?
Ha 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 ha! God damn you multi-classers. Give me a second. Let me pull my fucking notes up. Hold on. Okay, so make actually, you know what? Make an investigation. Give me another investigation check as you're hearing this.
It was almost much higher.
So, it is not something directly translated to thieves' cant, but the reason why it might be, but the reason it is not in this situation is because the person delivering it doesn't understand thieves' cant and cannot properly translate the message without the other gestures and potential hand signals that would add to thieves' cant.
Okay.
But as far as its cryptic nature, it sure fucking sounds like something that is thieves' cant, but you can't decipher it with the way that he's confused and just giving you the words.
Okay. Doc will she'll say thank you very much. And then, once he walks away, she'll start in on breakfast, but still be really thinking about that and also keeping that shit in her peripherals.
Okay, understood. And you removed the 64 gold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
I'm doing it now, I apologize.
Alright, so what is everybody else doing? We'll say for the sake of brevity, Doc now comes back. This wasn't a very long interaction, but Doc comes back into the main room where you guys are at.
I mean, I probably would have, at some point, would have gone out for,
Alright, I'm
for
checking
breakfast
my
as
hand.
well.
Shaking her hand.
Okay, sorry, hang on. I had 2 people talking over each other. Kev, what was that? You were going out to have breakfast, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll say, like, as Doc is rounding the corner, you are coming past her. And you can smell it. You can smell eggs, ham, some sort of weird sausagey gravy mix heavy in the air with potatoes and onions.
Oh my god, I'm about to fuck all that shit up. Doc, did they have bacon out there?
They did.
They did.
Did.
Yes, they did.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
you're paid for it. So I took it out of your share, I guess. But we're good for.
How much did it cost? Was it actually like a couple thousand? I mean,
No, it's 16 gold a person for the 4 nights or whatever it was. And that's for all meals, for the room, for everything.
There's some math that happened there. Awesome, great. So we got some food. Yeah, all right. I'm gonna go get some food. Fucking hungry.
Doc will give like a really genuine smile to Ree and
Make an insight check, Doc.
5. Wow.
Never mind.
Great.
Never mind.
Get him out of the way now.
The only thing that pops into Doc's head is, oh, bless your heart.
Ree. Sweet Ree. And then she'll say, enjoy, and she'll go back toward the room.
Yeah, and Ree, as you get out there, Tavern Keep is out there, literally walking around the room now, sees you coming, though, and actually backpedals, puts not 1 but 2 bowls of the Eggs Benedict and gravy on the counter, walks behind, puts a beer up on the counter like a breakfast ale, and kind of nods to you and says, "I'll be back for turds if you're still hungry."
I mean, you might as well bring it out now.
All right. He takes another bowl off and sets it down on the table in front of you.
All right, thank you, my good man. Hey, do you know have any information about like? I heard there was like some kind of like fight ring pit thing that happens around here or anything. Do you know anything about that?
Oh, yes. You're talking about. Yes, it's a more of a wrestling tournament. It's physical prowess. Sometimes it's more of the types that are a little bit more on the dexterous side. Sometimes it's more those who are a little bit more strong. Sometimes it's more about those who can outwit their opponents. Yes, it's held actually at the Ore Master's Fortress every Thursday. But if you're interested, we're always welcoming outsiders. It's a good way to make cash too. People could bid for you or against you, depending on where you place. You could potentially win yourself some coin.
Do I just like stroll on in and say, "Hey, I'm ready to fuck shit up"? Kind of.
Yes. So essentially, you'd have to be there before. I believe it's high evening, which is just an hour or so before dusk, and you sign yourself in. They bring you back. You get a chance to limber up. You never know who you're fighting beforehand, and then as you are sent out, people can bid for or against you, and that's pretty much how it works.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, great. Yeah, I'm gonna. Wait, what day is it today? Is it Tuesday?
Oh no, today's Saturday, so you got a couple of days before that happens. But
okay, man, I've been underground for a few days, so I don't even know how. Fuck, feels like I've been underground for a week.
Well, I'm glad that you're not underground anymore. It's great to see you back here. And by the way, whether or not anybody else has told you, I just wanted to say on behalf of the people of Underhill, thank you.
You're welcome. It's. I mean, we're trying to do as best we can with the people that we meet around here. So as long as we can help them, we're happy to do it.
There's not many of your kind that would think the same way. And it's obvious you're different. Not only are you smarter, but you're obviously way fucking stronger. Excuse my language, but it's pretty obvious.
That's kind of my catchphrase. Strongest fuck boy.
Yeah, you have one more of these bowls for you. That's on me. Yeah, you probably needed to make you as strong as fuckboy as you possibly can be. I think I may have just butchered that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it did, but it's okay. You give me another bowl of delicious food, so I'll let it slide.
But on that note, if you do decide to go and fight in the pits of the Ore Master's Fortress, come and let me know, because I'll throw a few coins on your to win. To be honest with you, we got a couple of at least lower tiers that I believe you could probably pick up and throw right out of the fucking circle.
All right, yeah, sounds great, man. Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm there.
All right, take care, E.
You as well.
All right, Doc. About this time now, you are entering the main room.
Breakfast is getting served. We're paid for 4 days. You owe me 16 gold. She'll say to Gray.
16 gold. Why?
To stay here and eat.
Aren't we all staying here?
Yeah, it was 16 gold a person. Everybody else paid.
So really quick for Doc and Gray, I say this specifically because you other two are kind of, I don't want to use the word savage loosely here, but since you typically live in the wilds, I mean, it is fair. But for Gray and Doc, who have lived in towns often, 16 gold for 4 days is fucking insanely high. However, the quality of the beds, the fact that you have the opportunity to bathe if you want to, just the class of where this is where wealthy people stay. And it's the largest room in the entire inn. And meals are included, which makes sense, but it's still pretty fucking high.
You do a good job on Monday, maybe you get that money back.
Maybe we should just leave before Monday. At this rate, I'm gonna be bankrupt before Monday. Here you go.
I know. Doc will take the 16 gold. I'm gonna put that back in.
Okay. Lucy, just make sure you pull that out. Oh, that's too funny.
Then
Okay.
Doc will go over to her bed and sit cross-legged. Honestly, she hasn't written in her journal or anything for a while, so probably spend some time doing that.
Okay. Excellent.
I also
I
just like,
guess. Oh, go ahead.
just as like a small detail, specifically because the bartender said not to like insult the dwarves, because the limbs and stuff. Gray's gonna literally go, like he'll say a really shitty dwarf joke and then go, no, don't insult your audience, and then scroll over.
Doc will kind of smirk, think for a second, shake her head. I'd have to go into my backpack for that. Is that where you hid that thing at? Okay. I guess I would find what was hidden by Aurora at that point, as she's digging through for her journal. But with Gray being in there, with Gray being in there, she probably wouldn't pull everything out and like look at it. She's just gonna notice it and then.
Yep, wrap bundle in your bag.
Okay. So you take note of it, but you kind of tuck it to the side, take your journal, and you begin to write.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, anybody else doing anything of interest in this morning period? Yes, Aurora.
If I want to, because I'm paranoid as fuck now, I'm looking at my hand.
Paranoid as
And
fuck, boy.
Yep.
Okay, so you take the glove off. As you take it off, you look down at your hand. The scales have not progressed any further from where they were yesterday. As you take the glove off, the glove itself, along the palm of the hand, is cold to the touch. You set it down. It quickly warms up as it leaves your hand, but as your fleshy palm touches the scaly palm, it is your palm is cold to the touch.
Doc's in here too. Aurora's gonna go over and just sit on the bed next to Doc, not asking, she's just gonna go and sit. And then she's just gonna hold out her hand and make the assumption that Doc's gonna want to look at it.
Doc, make a medicine check. I already knew where this was going, so whether Doc wants to or not, the professional surgeon will take a look. I mean, so an 8 is not necessarily a failure in this respect, but you are confident that you notice no changes in the scale pattern or spread.
Agreed about the dice.
Yeah, get them out of the way now. I'm sorry, what was the question, Aurora?
I asked if I may also roll an untrained medicine check to see if I'm noticing any weirdness or anything.
Yeah, go ahead. And you don't have to make it with disadvantage or anything like that.
Okay, let's see if it wants to actually roll successfully. Okay, I don't know why it rolled multiple times, but the first was a 1.
Okay, well, yeah, we always take the first. So, I mean, I'm seeing a 5.
I don't know, my thing just spazzed. It did a natural 1 first.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. It says 1 plus 3 plus 2. What the fuck? D20 equals 1, which was the roll. Oh, no, you know why? You can't roll a 1 as a halfling, as your halfling. Remember? So it re-rolled it for you, and it gave you a 3 instead, which is still pretty awesome. So, yeah, you look down at it, and collectively, as you are both looking at it, you're pretty confident that there are no new changes to the pattern, the structure, or the feel.
Okay. Or is just gonna kind of look at Doc and wait and hope that, Surgeon Gnome has ideas that don't involve problems.
We can scalpel those scales off,
So Doc will she'll stop writing, take your palm and look at it, study it for a second, and say, well, it doesn't look like you have more. Do you feel different?
It's cold.
Was it not cold before?
Wasn't this cold?
Yeah, and Doc, as you touch it, her hand is physically cold to the touch. It is not like ice. It is cold to the point where, like, it's like if you touched a cold-blooded creature.
She'll flip over her hand and then check her nail beds to see if it's a circulation problem.
So as you flip them over, give me another medicine check.
Do better. Wow.
It does not appear to be a circulation issue.
We
As
really
you
needed coffee first.
clearly, there are a lot. I'm looking at this 6, 21, 7, 5, 8, 5, 4. Fuck. Better you guys than me.
They're all me.
I know. So, and Gray's over here just like, get him out of the way now. So, yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't, it looks like her hand from yesterday when it had been discussed.
I don't see a difference. If you start to feel coldness anywhere except for your hand, I think that would be concerning.
And
if
right
it
now
starts
it
to come
doesn't.
up your arm.
Well, yeah, yeah, that would be good to avoid. I think. I don't know if this is good. The autopsy might help with that.
I'm not going to do an autopsy on you
You absolutely will not. That is correct.
Not yet.
yet. Yeah.
No. When did he say the autopsy was?
I think today, wasn't it?
He, just for, DM reference, he did say it was going to be today. He wanted to see you back here in the morning.
Yeah.
Or
I
back
have to
there in
go
the morning.
over there later this morning. I was going to make a comment about your cold dead heart, but I just can't think of anything right now, so take it. And she'll give you a little finger.
She will start to flip her off with the scaled hand, look at it, and then flip her off with the other hand because that's too weird.
Yeah, Meepo wouldn't do that to me.
I don't know. He's starting to.
Just definitely, if you notice any change, even if it seems stupid, bring it up.
Well, this is a lot of changes. There were like 1 to 3 scales. Now there's a lot.
Well, did you ask him?
He said that we're together. No, he doesn't want the body. We're together. It was very
He just wants your hand.
Aurora gives a very scary halfling look.
Aww. Seriously, I think that you're a halfling now, right? So that's a weird thing that happened. So this is just another weird thing on top of weird things. But it could be so much worse. It could be not Meepo, and who knows what would happen. So, at least you've got a kind-hearted feller in there. She just kind of shrugs, like she seems totally at a loss as to what to say. She's very clearly trying to comfort you, but...
Yeah, Aurora's just gonna kind of look at her for a moment, and then just kind of shrug and visibly shove those emotions into a little box and like lock them away. And then also, I just looked at my hit points and realized that I should probably do my long rest healing, and I wouldn't have mentioned that because everyone probably should.
Yeah, I don't think any of us did that.
No, I was actually. It's funny that you say that because I just looked at I was in the Ore Master's Fortress, and I was like, "Holy fuck, you guys are not doing good."
Would it be alright if we retro roll, or do you want us to do it?
No, retro roll. No, I assume that during the length of a long rest, obviously you do not gain all of your hit points,
right,
but you do gain hit dice equal to half of your level, which rounded down for everybody right now, that is 3 hit dice back, and you can spend as many of those as you would like up into your max, or you can expend any remaining spell slots that you had from the night prior.
I'm gonna probably dump my healing spells into myself.
Yes, please do so.
And I think I have, okay, so, were you hurt?
Yeah, I was down to 40.
Yeah, Ree was fucked up.
Alright, so I would definitely do a Cure Wounds at second level on her, so I'll roll that now.
Okay.
16 points of healing to Ree. And then she would have done another Cure Wounds. 9, so that's 25 so far.
Oh, it's still under it? Okay.
Yep. And then probably another one. And then one on herself.
Wow, you had that many spell slots left?
I had 3 first level and 1 second, yep.
Okay, understood.
And then I'll do one on myself.
Okay.
6. And then I'm gonna use 2 hit dice. I already used 1 on
That's,
each other.
yep, totally fine. We'll say that this was all, you know, within the realm of, like, nighttime prayers. Everybody's saying they're now Ilames, and Doc is saying, if you die and do not wake.
If you die and do not
In
wake, all your
Garl's
stuff
name, I
shall
shall shake. Oh, wow, okay, she's a fucking rogue. Carved.
Oh, there it goes.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm assuming everybody is essentially at full at this point. Give or take a couple of hit dice.
My 3 spells hit exactly full, which
That's
was
awesome.
convenient.
I got to a little bit over full, so I'm definitely good.
Yeah, Rian, what you've got 98 hit points. You were at 40, so 27 plus your 20. What did you do, Doc? It was 20.
I did 16. It was 33 total.
33 plus.
So it's
yeah, it's 50.
16
Oh yeah,
total.
you are healed.
I think that was over what I needed, so.
Hey, that's all right. You're good. Everybody's good.
Everybody.
And Lucy or Gray just didn't get hit. We would have known because Gray would have just died. 1 hit, 1 kobold, 1 hit. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. 2 hits.
Great.
That's the one from Rachel. Just drink it.
Give
Fuck
me
it.
that much grit.
Hey man, I got to give credit where credit's due. You know where I will give credit is when you make this performance happen. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. All right. So, moving forward. You guys spend, you know, a good chunk of the morning. Gray, you're rehearsing, you're doing your thing. You're getting a good feel for the routine and for what it's going to be. Aurora, Doc, you know that you are expected for. Doc, you are expected for your autopsy, and Aurora, you are expected to join Doc to meet this mysterious religious figure, according to what you were told, to take a look at your hand. And Ree, you can just run the fucking gambit.
Might go to pick up my mall. If this guy's open.
The mall is not done until Monday. Today is only Saturday.
Oh, fuck, I keep forgetting. Yeah, I might as well hang out to the autopsy then.
I mean, you can still go to the runesmith if you want. I don't want to shut that out as an option.
Yeah, I guess I would like to poke in there and make sure that he knows that I'm still alive at least, and
Okay.
that's about it. Then go check out the autopsy.
All right. So Doc, everybody else, what are you guys doing?
So Doc will, once she and
We'll say, by the way, at about this time, it's about 11 a.m.
once she and Aurora are done chatting, she'll probably pack up her stuff and just say, okay, well, I'm gonna head over now if you're ready.
Yeah, just let me grab a whatever that smell is on the way before. Well,
It's good.
apparently it's poor form to eat in an autopsy room.
That is
Yeah.
relatively accurate, though I believe that poor form fades over time. All right, so you snag a breakfast. Yeah, you snag a breakfast sandwich that's wrapped up in like this gigantic weird fern, like a dire fern leaf. So that way you can, you know, just kind of toss it by the wayside and it won't hurt anything. It's actually it's pretty fucking cute. Very Indonesian in nature. You know, eating off a banana leaf.
She's keeping the dire fern leaf.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, and it's in good repair. It's nice and warm too. It feels like it's alive. Definitely not, but it feels like it. Okay, so you all exit the tavern or the inn. As you approach the rune smithy, there is literally a sign out front that is flipped to closed. Knock on the door. No
Yeah,
answer.
No, nothing. Okay.
No answer. The windows are shut. When you guys were there the last time, they were open ever so slightly, and you could see through the stained glass windows. Everything is shut up tight. However, with passive perceptions, you can hear inside the furious sound of a hammer hitting a chisel and somebody cussing in Dwarven.
Yeah, I was just about to put my ear to the door and see if I could hear anything. Sounds like he's hard at work. Nice. Can't wait for my tooth hammer. It's gonna be great.
All right, so
I should come up with a little slogan when I hit people with this, like chew on this and hit them in the head with my hammer. It's a tooth. Think that works.
that's so clever. And Doc and Aurora say nothing. They just ignore you.
Total dad joke.
no.
I was like, fuck, I'm over here dying, but I can't laugh.
Honestly, if Reese says that, Doc would actually unexpectedly kind of burst out laughing. Like, she did not anticipate that being said whatsoever. You absolutely should. You absolutely should. Honestly, I don't think it could be anything but that.
Chew on this because I'm fast as fuck, boy.
All right. First try. Nice. I like it.
Yeah, I just apparently that's what you're made for.
All right.
Also murdering things.
So,
Aurora cannot let on that she might have a sense of humor, so she has to internalize her
strong.
reaction.
okay. So, the three of you, Doc, Ree, and Aurora, you make your way to the Ore Master's Fortress. As you do so, you approach. The guards are out front. Now that it is daylight, you can see, clear as day, that the tubes that are sticking out from the parapets up top are absolutely riflemen looking down upon you. The guardsman, he kind of steps out. The lead guardman steps out. He looks at you, kind of squints, and he says, "Give me just a moment. I'm going to go and make sure it's alright if I let you in, but I already know what you're here for, so bear with me for just a moment."
Thank you.
And he disappears inside.
We are expected. Oh, feels all fancy now.
Aurora looks nervous.
About 2 minutes later, which is very short compared to the 5-minute wait you had the last time, the guard reappears and he says, "Right, you already know where to go, so please see yourselves in."
Okay, Doc will head in and kind of nod at everybody as she walks by.
We will walk by. Doctor, Lieutenant.
You actually catch a half smile from one of the spearmen, and one of the crosswomen you hear, "Oh."
Aurora
They're like-
goes in. She's threat scanning, but she's not being particularly polite or rude. But social trees.
Neutral
They're
in
like-
nature.
They're like the Queen's Guard, where they're trying really hard not to laugh. No emotion.
Yeah, they're trying their best. They're not quite as serious as Queen's Guard, but they are definitely up there. But I mean, even that little tiny bit of joy, they break under simple dwarven personality, and they get a kick out of it. So, all right, so you find yourselves in the room, in this holding cell chamber that you had been told about prior to coming back here the last time. In the southern part of the room, on a small stone table, almost a large tablet of sorts, is the body of the headless body of the Jvart anointed one. The room is filled with guards compared to where it was. There's at least 2 more guards in here than you remember there being last time. And you see the Overlord standing there, and he looks out at the lot of you as you enter, and he says, "Thank you so much for coming. I'm glad that you actually came back and held your appointment. I've prepared a table that we've talked about. I don't think there's anything else we could have done to help preserve it. He is unfortunately starting to smell quite a bit, so now I think is your time to shine, Doctor."
Yeah. And Kevin, I've got a DM question for you.
Yes.
If you tell me to figure it out, I fully accept that, but I took enhance ability to try to assist me with this along with guidance, and I didn't know would I need wisdom for medicine checks or dexterity for dexterity checks.
Okay, so first of all, I seriously appreciate that question because it's super fucking intelligent on a player level, but I'm also going to follow that up with figure it out.
Okay. I'm guessing it's going to need to be medicine, so I guess my question...
Actually, you know what? Hang on, let me back this up. Make an intelligence check for me. I may be able to give you a little bit more information about this. Because you know me as a DM and you know how I do surgery,
Yeah.
so you know that there are multiple steps in this shit. I appreciate that, but fuck yourself.
Alright, wish me luck, guys. It's a 12.
Okay, 12 is actually not that bad. So, what you know about surgeries and the couple of autopsies you, as a doctor, have performed before are that it does require a good knowledge of medicine, but it also requires good manual dexterity in order to perform things correctly, especially on something that you have never dissected before.
Right, that was my thought.
Because
The
you
medicine-
don't know what's going to be in it.
Right.
What you do know about this creature right off the bat is that it is humanoid in nature, but you know nothing else about what you could possibly find.
Right, so
and about how careful you may need to be in certain places.
That was going to say, my justification for dexterity, because that's what I was going to go with probably either way, was that I want to keep everything intact I possibly can so I don't screw this up. So I'm going to, I will, how long does it even last? I guess I should make sure.
I'm almost positive it
up to
lasts.
an hour.
I was going to say, I thought it was at least an hour,
Yeah,
if
it's
not
up
more.
to an hour. So I will do, I'm going to cast Enhance Ability on myself, and I'm going to do Cat's Grace, ironically enough, because that does dexterity checks.
Okay, so Doc clutches her nugget. God, that does not sound right when I say it like that. It's fucking terrible. Stupid glitter folk. So Doc...
Go back to the otter description.
Yeah, right. She just flops over on her back and just starts smashing a clam open with her nugget, and the spell just manifests. Now, so Doc,
How I'm supposed to do it?
is this how we do magic? So Doc grabs onto the gold nugget around her neck, and she bows her head, and as she does so, she whispers this slew of divine syllables that kind of spill out, and as they hit the ground, they splash in these little golden droplets. Those droplets swirl around her feet and then spiral up her body. You guys see, that is, you guys meaning Ree and Aurora, her form momentarily stretches to about 7'6", and you almost for a moment see her original tabaxi form in front of you before the magic collapses inwards, and you see her crack all of her fingers and stretch them like a cat would be trying to stretch their claws, and she cracks her neck and arches her back as you see her take on this familiar cat-like grace within herself.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
The cat's in there still somewhere, huh?
Yeah, it's still me.
The Overlord kind of opens his eyes at this point. He looks and he goes, "I'm sorry. What?"
I used to be a, I was born with tabaxi.
In her past life, she was a tabaxi, yeah.
One of her 9
I
lives.
ran out of 9 lives. Yeah, funny joke.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. Oh, shit. Oh, you're serious.
So I died. Yeah.
Wait, the tales are true? No pun intended,
Oh.
but the tales are true? Tabaxi, you have 9 lives, you've died 9 times and became a fucking gnome?
No, I must have. No, I only died once.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you did get knocked out quite a few times.
That's true.
To be fair.
But I wasn't like floaty. I've got about an hour until.
Oh, yes, no, sorry. This is very interesting.
I would love to regale it after.
Yes, very interested in what you have going on here. Please.
Probably hear more about it
I was
at
gonna
the show
say,
tonight.
if you go to the tavern, on Monday, our bard will be sharing some of the details. I'm not sure if that's included.
He kind of like cocks his head. He reaches into his leather vest pocket and he pulls out a small, what appears to be a small rudimentary ticket stub, and he says, I was the first one to buy a ticket. I'm the one who sent out the flyers.
Love that. I'm gonna tell you my story first, then. Anyway, let's.
Yes, would it be alright with you, Doc, if I took notes while you perform this autopsy, so we could have collective information?
Right. If you don't mind sharing them with me, that'd be great.
Yeah,
After,
wonderful.
It's gonna be hard to take notes while I'm doing this.
Perfect. So he sits, does not have one of his cronies do it. He sits and takes a quill and begins to, you see he actually takes his hat off and sets it on the table and he begins to write. So, Doc, what do you do?
The body's on the table.
It is on the table down here in the southern part, in the southern chamber of the room.
Hey, Doc, is there anything you need me to help you with? You need me to, like, help hold open its ribs or something? Or...
Possibly. I will let you know if I get to that point. I'm used to having clamps and that kind of thing, and this is a different environment, so I might need your help.
I got you.
Thank you, Ree, as always.
Aurora's
Should
gonna
give a little.
kind of-
Go ahead.
Sorry. Aurora's gonna stay back by the stairs and she's watching, and just trying not to get in the way.
And then I'm gonna cast guidance on myself, and then Doc will begin the autopsy.
All right, so you already know how I do surgeries, Candace. It's weird that I have to say that as a DM, but so many weird fucking things happen in my campaigns, and surgeries are a semi-common part of how we do things. So, Tier 1. I need you to make a medicine check, and the title of Tier 1 is Opening It Up.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a medicine check in the D4.
Yes, D4.
Okay. How about a 16?
16 is not bad. All right, so you draw the proper incisions along the exterior of the creature that lies before you. It's easy to do because the creature does not have a head. From the neck up, and most of its shoulder blades have been completely removed from its body via Re. But yeah, but it's okay. It actually makes it easier for you. So you draw back from the neck down the sternum all the way past the belly button to the groin. Where there should be genitalia, there are none. Period.
Well, that's ironic. He's just a big blue dick, but he doesn't have a dick.
Save for a little booty hole and a little gland which you believe probably excretes urine, there is no clear humanoid genitalia. That's actually an important note for this creature. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. So.
Oh, that was.
Oh yeah. They do not procreate the same way most humanoid races do. So you draw the incision all the way down the center. You draw the incision from the chest almost in T across the arms, and then you draw an incision down both legs. And that allows you to properly open or peel back the flesh. And then pin it in place, which allows you to expose the internal organs, bone structure, and muscle structure. And you have succeeded in doing that. So about 25 or so minutes go by in this first step, because you know, especially being that it is a creature you are unfamiliar with, this is a very crucial step, because if you feel something that stands out amongst other humanoids that you've dissected before or performed an autopsy on, and you puncture it or harm it, it could ruin the rest of the autopsy.
Right. And Doc is, just for note for the people staying by, she's focused like she would be if she was picking a lock. She's like really intent. You've seen the same intensity with picking difficult locks since we've been together.
All right, Doc. We now begin tier 2. I need you to make a medicine check to start.
It was almost an 18.
Okay.
But then it wasn't.
So, as you begin to go through the interior and you begin to call out the organs that you recognize, you are missing a bunch of really main organs, including liver, kidneys, bladder, spleen, things of that sort. You just cannot find them. You have no fucking idea where they are under the mass of tissue and things of that sort. I need you to follow that up with a dexterity check, please.
Okay, I'll do that with advantage.
So, yes.
13 it is.
All right, 13. So, you begin to remove organs, but unfortunately, you damage a large handful of them. You are not performing this autopsy well, and you can feel you are not performing this autopsy well. You find one of the 2 kidneys, and you accidentally put your scalpel through the kidney, puncturing it, which causes some sort of vile green and yellow liquid to spill from it, which as soon as it hits the intestine and stomach area, begins to eat through it almost like an acid. So you have unfortunately failed at that. So
What happened?
So the one thing that you do note is that much like the rest of this thing's outer shell, we'll call it, quote unquote, or its fleshy material, with the dull purpled veins, the veins that you do find on the inside do have the dulled purple veins as well. But unfortunately, because of the damage that you've caused to the inside structure, unfortunately, this is where the autopsy stops, and you do not move to tier 3.
Okay. Doc stops for a second.
And you guys see it too, as the as this liquid is hitting the organs that she has punctured. It's dissolving them fucking rapidly, and you see her desperately trying to save it, and she just cannot manage it.
She stops for a second, closes her eyes and looks down at the floor, takes a deep breath, and then screams "fuck" and throws her utensils on the ground and steps down and away. She just kind of just like walks over to that area. She's like seething.
Is that normal? Is that in everybody, or is that in just these guys?
So the Overlord at this point, after you shout "fuck," he picks his quill up, and he just kind of sets it down gently, and he pushes the he pushes the parchment up towards the center of the table. He just kind of sits there.
After a second, Doc will. She's like kind of pacing in that area, cools off, and then walks back in.
What happened?
They are. I'm not. It's the same. I've never done an autopsy on something like that before. She can't make eye contact with anybody in the room.
Luckily for you, there's probably only a couple people trying to make eye contact, as the guards are all looking down and away from you.
Hey, I mean, it's all right. I mean, Who knows where I couldn't even tell where the head started and the rest of the body began. So you're better than I did.
This,
Retake an inspiration point. That's funny as shit.
this could have given us some seriously valuable information, and she'll look over at the ore master and can I go out? Do you mind if I just need fresh air? I need a minute.
This is your autopsy, not mine. Please see yourself out.
She'll kind of like storm through, go outside.
Okay, everybody stands aside unless you just fucking see through.
So should we like toss this thing out into the fire pit or something?
The ore master glances at you and he says, its innards are smoking. I wonder if... Fuck. And he stands up and he pushes his chair and he says, excuse me, I need to... Give me a moment, please.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over when he leaves. I'm gonna go over and take a look at that body, and I'm gonna ask Meepo if he's seeing this shit and if he can make anything of it.
Okay. So you walk over to the Jvart that has now... It's peeled back... the flesh is peeled back and pinned perfectly. Like an insect that was captured, killed humanely, or died organically, and then pinned for reference for study. But the insides are just a fucking mess. What do you say to Meepo?
Pretty much exactly that. First of all, it's gonna be you seeing this shit? Because I don't know how to even I don't know what Meepo can see or not or process.
So when you say that, when you say, do you see this shit? You feel your hand grow ice cold.
That was actually the other thing that I wanted to do is I want to see, so this is smoking and is this giving off like heat or the smoking is more acidic?
It's definitely acidic. Even as you walk over you smell the acridness come up and out of the organs and you're like, what? I mean, it almost like burns your eyes, just the smoke, the vapors.
Okay. Yeah, so, and so if the hand goes cold, yeah, it's a weird feeling. Can you make anything of that?
Are you saying it's all like in your mind, kind of?
Yeah, she is doing that in her mind, although she does visibly do that when the hand goes very cold.
So, as you ask that second question, is there anything you can make of this? Your hand, the cold fades away and goes back to normal fleshy feeling. As you look down, the scales, if you pop open the glove, the scales are still there, but the cold goes away. But there's no audible like telepathy.
Okay. So I want to do two things, kind of simultaneously, that are probably really stupid. First, I want to use, I'm gonna look at Rhea and say, got an idea. Might be a bad idea.
Oh boy.
Pull me back if it gets ugly. And then she's gonna look at the body and she's gonna look at the body and she's going to use Hunter Scent to, see if the creature has any damage immunities, resistances, vulnerabilities. I don't know. It's the best kind of thing that she's got. She's gonna look at the thing. And then I'm gonna see how my scaly hand does against acid blood stuff. And I'm gonna kind of see if I can investigate with what she was doing in this autopsy.
All right, there's a lot of things happening here, and I like that there's a lot of things happening here. Give me 1 second for the hunter sense. Okay, so what? Excuse me. Sorry. What does Hunter Sense allow you to pick up? Its weaknesses, immunities, and resistances.
Yeah, it says damage, immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are if the creature is not hidden from divination magic. What she's trying to do is she is trying to kind of open her senses to this thing, to both for her and for Meepo, and just kind of let instinct take over.
Understood. So, you absolutely sense that this creature is a humanoid. There is no doubt about it whatsoever. But it has zero resistances. It has zero vulnerabilities, but it is immune to necrotic damage. You sense that its whole body just radiates with a raw, shadowy immunity to necrotic damage. As you pick that up, you feel your hand kind of jerk forward, and as you do so, you feel almost a wanting, almost a want to reach into this thing's organs.
Yep, I'm going solely on instinct here. I'm gonna let it happen.
Okay, give me just one moment. I don't have your character sheet pulled up. How many first level spell slots do you have?
4.
Thank you. All right. So, your left hand lurches forward and just absolutely dives into the organs of this creature.
What the fuck?
You feel your hand begin to sizzle, and you take 4 points of acid damage. However, as that happens, you also feel your hand grow cold as fucking ice. Like, literally cold as ice. And as that happens, the entire body of the Jvart Anointed One flashes quickly with this blue energy, and you feel yourself expend a single first level spell slot for Cure Wounds, and you heal, you suture the puncture wound that Doc had put into this thing, and its body remains in a semi-frozen state, essentially preserving it, at least for the moment. And with that, the hand kind of lurches back out, and you look down at your gloved hand and see that the glove is partially melted, and your flesh on the backside of your hand is also singed and melted, but your dragon scales are fucking flawless.
What'd you do?
Well, she's gonna say then she's gonna do the 1 second, and she's gonna think thank you, and then she'll look to Ray and be like, I did that.
Did what? Still looks like a
Just
big pile of
for
mush.
the body.
It still looks like a big pile of mush. It's still smoking in spots. What am I looking at?
The smoking has completely stopped at this point.
Oh, smoking
Yep. I mean, for a couple of seconds it smokes, but as soon as the whole body kind of like crystallizes, it's almost like a permafrost where it looks very, very lightly frosted over. The smoking
I can't
stops.
actually physically see the frost on it.
Doc would have come back in. She just needed a minute, so you let me know when that would be.
Okay.
I don't really know, but
Okay, Doc, it's
maybe
about this time
Cooper
that you
will
would be
able
walking
to-
back in.
to get more from this now. I think I don't know.
Doc would walk back in and see Aurora standing there. Don't
With a
touch it.
partially melted glove.
What'd you do?
She'll
She would out of concern for Aurora, grab her hand, seeing the glove melted, and inspect it really quick.
Make a medicine check for me. So even though a 9 is not that great, it's pretty obvious that her hand has been burned by some sort of like very not diluted, but a very concentrated form of bile-like acid. But the interesting thing is that nothing underneath her glove on the palm side has been touched.
Okay. Doc will glance over at the thing, seeing.
And you see its whole body is got a very thin bluish white sheet of ice completely crystallized over it, and it is not smoking anymore. And it's perfectly pinned back exactly where you left it. Nothing is out of place.
Should say we can discuss this after and kind of like move past Aurora toward the thing and grab her tools and start maybe trying again to see what she can discover.
Okay.
And Aurora's not gonna protest. She's going back to her spot, and she's going to kind of tuck her hands to hide a little bit of the like freak out trembling.
All right. Doc, give me a dexterity check.
Okay.
This is for Tier 2, which is titled Digging Through the Remains. Tier 2, Part 2.
Okay, guidance again.
Okay, so you grab onto the nugget, you whisper a prayer, and you begin to dive back in. Now, this is dex check, so make it with advantage. Yeah, you still have that on, right?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
an
Okay,
hour.
it's an hour. Good. Yep. Okay, so you have a 17. Wow.
21.
Perfect. Having assistance during surgeries, by the way, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Doc, you managed to remove all of the organs except the heart and samples. You managed to remove all the organs except the heart. You also removed samples of the bone, muscle, different tissue structures without any sort of issue. You also realize at this point that the creature has one organ that stands out amongst the rest, and that is the heart, which you have not removed quite yet. And the thing that stands out to you that is not the same compared to other humanoids is that this creature has a 7-chambered heart instead of a 4-chambered heart. And it takes up about 3/4 of the left-hand side of its chest cavity. We are moving on to Tier 3. All right, so to start, sorry, I was I do highlights and things when we do surgery, so just so I know like where we are. So, Tier 3. Identifying the cause. I need a medicine check, please.
Guidance again.
Okay, so you notice the heart, you realize it is fucked up. Something is wrong with this heart. It has way more chambers than it should. It is huge compared to its body size. Mind you, Jvart are small creatures. So, give me a medicine check with a D4.
Doc's gonna say.
D4.
Garl,
There it is.
Garl, please help me stop fucking things up. 21 again.
God damn, not bad. All right. So, you successfully, at this point, remove the semi-frosted over heart. It's actually very easy to remove now that it's not normal fleshy room temperature. Like by a long shot. It's way easier to cut apart. It remains fully intact, and upon closer inspection, it appears that it has mutated at some point after the creature was fully matured, as the heart itself had an original 4-chambered structure, and 3 additional chambers grew off of it in the same way that a tumor would grow off of an additional organ, except they created fully functional parts of the biological structure.
I suspect whatever this thing is that causes the purple veins maybe needed its own chambers or additional chambers to be able to function.
I now need you to make a history check as the final part of our autopsy.
Oh boy. Okay. 16?
Holy shit. I kid you not, 16 is exactly what you needed.
Praise Garl.
So, and I'm going to read this verbatim. The only time that you have ever heard of something like this, as far as a 7-chambered heart, in the fashion that it has grown off of a 4-chambered heart on a creature that has exhibited signs close to this, is when an ancient and now long dead infernal dragon. Sorry, I heard a click, click, and I was like, oh, somebody about to say something. It was an infernal dragon named Blar Gul'dun. Blar Gul'dun began spreading a draconic curse in the form of a disease among the people of the elemental plane of Earth as punishment for failing to provide rare crystals to its demonic followers to be used as vessels to hold souls. I know that was a mouthful. I can repeat it if you need me to.
I got to elemental plane of Earth. I just need after that.
Okay. To the elemental plane of Earth as punishment for failing to provide rare crystals to its demonic followers to be used as vessels to hold souls.
So,
And at this point, you feel like you have successfully investigated the entirety of this thing. Obviously, you can take tissue samples and do what you want to with it, but the oddity here was the heart, and as you think back in the history of, whoa, what the fuck, that is what you pull up.
so when Doc gets to that point, she'll kind of like take in a really sharp breath and stop and just stare down at it, like thinking.
What happened? Is something bad? That looks like I've seen a heart or two. That looks kind of fucked up.
I think I know what the purple veins are.
What are they?
I kind of wish I didn't know. So when she's talking to Ree, she'll say, a big, nasty dragon spread curse through disease. Long time ago.
Oh, I thought you were talking about what's happening now.
Well, it's back, I think.
And and just for reference, Candace, because you obviously know the campaign universe, as far as like a long time ago, this bit of history is like a millennia prior to the first happening.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like
really long
this
time ago.
this was in ancient times. And it didn't happen on the prime material. This was all between the infernal plane, the hells, and the elemental plane of Earth.
It's obviously not a story like somebody like Ree would know either.
Right.
Probably not, but if I would absolutely offer you a history check if you want to try to make it. If you want to try to dwell upon it as she's explaining it.
Sure.
You're gonna roll a nat 20.
If you fuck, nat 20 minus 4 is what. Just kidding.
It was actually a higher roll than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, actually, an 11's not bad. Yeah, an 11 minus 1. As she's explaining it, you're like, I know, I got fucking nothing.
But so this was a long time ago, but my concern is, I mean, the dragon that did it is dead, so I don't know how it would be back. unless something.
You
I
said it
don't
was
know.
like a demon dragon, right? I mean, those fuckers don't die, do they? Right? I mean, I always hear stories about these fucking things coming back to life and haunting you and
Yeah,
sleeping on your chest and things like that.
things can come back to life, sure. I mean, obviously. But this was like if you think about a long time ago, like when you think about a story and it goes back for a long time and then it's like a really
Like
long
a
time.
long time ago.
It's like once
Land far away
upon a
again.
time,
Yeah,
upon a time, upon a time, upon a time,
yeah.
upon a time.
Mm,
It was a long ass time ago.
long ass time.
Long as fuck boy.
Long as fuck boy.
So she'll turn
Don't
and
like that one.
Oh God.
she'll turn and go over to the table and she will sit, but then she'll realize that he's not there, the Ore Master, unless he came back.
He has not come back. He walked back in the room, and as you started to cut, he turned around and walked right the fuck back out.
Okay. All right. So Doc will sit down and she'll start taking her own notes then to try
Okay,
to.
and his paper is still on the table.
Okay, yeah. So I'll just kind of grab a blank. I don't want to ruin whatever he was writing, but grab a blank sheet of paper and start writing my notes out.
Easy.
When she's describing the dragon things, I'm just gonna, this isn't. You know a lot about Calycrix, obviously. Is this something you know about?
What's wrong?
She's having a friggin' night terror. I can see her.
Jesus Christ. Settle her down as fast as you can so she doesn't wig out. Make a... Sorry, I saw Grace thing. Fragile as fuck, boy. When you have an 8 constitution, that is the most accurate thing you could possibly say. Okay, so... Aurora, make a persuasion check for me.
Oh no. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh wow, goddamn! This was not a fly or die check, but as you reach internally, you feel no physical or audiological response.
Hey, she was still a little bit freaked out about the, someone else momentarily taking over, and
And
she
it
wasn't
what
being diplomatic.
and up until this point, even after Doc has finished the autopsy, mind you, this has been 15-20 minutes. There is still a physical response within Aurora that is adrenaline, because what the fuck was that?
And she is working on being diplomatic with this other soul, especially now that it can take over. She thinks she's going to, I know exactly what you did. I know exactly how you did that. I do appreciate it, and I hope this is enough of an adventure for you.
Okay, so Doc, Aurora. What would you like to do?
So when Doc's done taking notes, she'll turn to Aurora and she'll say,
By the way, just as a note, these guards have stood fucking vigilant. Nobody has flinched this entire time.
she'll say, I don't know what you did or how you did it, but thank you. You definitely just changed all of that.
That was you. Sometimes just Sometimes you just need a nudge to find what's there, right?
Yeah. I don't know, exactly what to do with the information that I think we just got, but maybe our friend will, that we've been talking to.
Oh yeah, water boy.
We might need to try to talk with him again and see.
Might also be worth seeing if we can get a message back to he's gonna look at the guards to our floofy panted friend.
I would like to, I honestly really like to see him anyway.
At this point, the door opens, and the Overlord steps in, and he kind of like glances around, notices Aurora kind of standing by the pillar, looks around at the two of you. He says, "So, are you all right?" And he looks very concerned down towards Doc, and he partially kneels, and he puts his hand out, almost like a human beckoning a dog, and he says, I thought you'd lost yourself within the confines of this autopsy with this, whatever the hell this creature is. Are you alright, my dear?
She'll walk over and, like, take his hand kind of, and
He stands back up, and at his full height, he's only, like 4'9". But he takes your
still taller
hand.
than me.
He takes your hand and kind of shakes it and squeezes it, like, wholeheartedly, puts it to his chest, and he says, I've never seen such discontent and sorrow in somebody doing something so professional in my life. Are you alright?
She'll open her mouth, and he'll be able to see tears kind of welling in her eyes, and she'll clear her throat, close her mouth.
He takes his other hand and he reaches it around the back of her head, and he kind of like puts his hand up and underneath like the base of her skull just to kind of support it, and he says, You've done so many good things, and your friends have changed the way that our people will look at other races for an eternity. What do you need from me?
She takes a second, takes a deep breath, and says, well, I think we may have found something big. I don't know what to do with it. But, and she'll motion toward the body. It looks like... Okay, have you ever heard of Blar Guldoon?
That's a good fucking question. Let me see if he has. Fuck, 23. He says, yes, of course I have, but those were just children's tales told to the dwarves of old who dwelled deep within the earth of the gems, the gem mines, the amethyst mines, the crystal mines, the diamond mines, and yes, what about it though? That creature is just fantasy, isn't it?
Are you familiar, and I don't mean to be insulting in any way, are you familiar with anatomy of typical humanoids?
I am not, no. I understand that I have 2 lungs, 1 heart, 1 brain, 2 eyes, 1 tongue, 1 penis, 2 testicles, a butt, and 2 legs and 2 arms. But besides that, not quite sure about everybody else.
You hear a little giggle from Ree.
So
It was the most Creed thing this guy could have said.
So the heart of a typical humanoid has 4 chambers.
Oh, you were talking about that simplicity. Yes, my dear. And he pats you on the head. Yes, I apologize. I did know that much. I'm sorry. I did know that
No,
much.
that's okay. Not everybody knows. So, that guy has 7.
He lets go of your hand and puts his hands back up in this position and goes, Fuck!
And it doesn't look like they normally would, to me. It almost looks like it was forced to grow either to support the purple, cursey blood, or... So you know Blar Guldoon, you know what came along with that.
Yes, 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 yes. There was some crazy disease that spread amongst the people of the elemental plane of Earth, and when the curse took place, it forced their heart to grow 4 times larger than it normally would, and then it crystallized, and then they died under cardiac arrest. It was heart attacks throughout the entire nation of the people of the. He snaps his fingers a few times and he says, "The people of the geode." The geode mines, I can't remember, but there is a geode network that runs through the entirety of the elemental plane of Earth, and the people there were very specifically impacted by the disease. Is that I'm sorry, is that right?
Yeah, that's accurate.
So
Well,
Is this what our people have?
well, I don't think your people have it. I think these Zvart do. I'm not sure how they got it or why they have it or...
My question is, dear doctor, if this Jvat has it, and it is dead in the presence of my people, and there are dozens of them dead down in my iron mines, is it a pathogen that my people will catch if we clear them away?
Did it ever talk about how it was transmitted?
Give me another history check, but this time with advantage because you have already successfully completed a history check in this respect.
Oh, that's better.
I was gonna say that is not fucking great, but that second roll was definitely good.
Hallelujah for advantage.
So, you recall that it was spread initially as a curse upon a single dwarven entity. But when it manifested, the thing that was different about it, the thing that resonated with you as a medical professional, was that it spread like a curse, meaning that anybody who bore witness to any feat that this individual, patient 0, did, meaning anything of noticeable intent, the disease spread. It was a magical disease. Essentially, you could call it a magical disease. It was a disease that manifested in the form of a curse, and a curse that manifested in the form of a disease.
So, just to make sure that I'm clear, Doc would feel confident in saying that just being in this room is not going to make you...
Being in this room, if this thing has it, there's a good chance we all are currently infected with it, or there's a chance that none of us are infected with it. Or it could impact only its people, or it could only be impacted if you feel like the taint of... So, the way curses work are that you... So, the way curses work are if you are impacted by the pull or the energy of a specific curse, meaning an entity that delivers said curse, right? A dragon in this instance, then you are infected with said disease. That disease then can be, a curse. But then you can be impacted as if it were a disease by interacting with other beings or entities of the same exact type, because that was what was written in the curse. So if the curse was laid upon the Zvart, only the Zvart could get it, but they could spread it to every Zvart from here to fucking Kingdom Come, because it was a disease that was laid upon a single Zvart in the form of a curse.
Okay. So...
But it doesn't mean it's true. That's the tricky shit, because there's magic involved.
There's about a...
But let me just follow this up really quickly. But the key and the takeaway here is that it all has to do with a dragon. And a dragon's will.
I think it's like... I think it's very slim that the people here will be affected. I can't say it with 100% certainty, but typically... my understanding of the way that this curse worked, either it would be if you were one of them, you would be affected, could be affected. If you were the target of the curse in the first place, then your people could be affected. but because it's on them, you should be okay.
You see him physically step back towards the wall that he's currently leaning against, and he does. He rests his shoulders and his upper back against the wall, and he sighs. Well, thank goodness for that. Is there anything else that you learned by dissecting this creature? Is there anything we should be worried about in the now? Or is there just information you can take with you on your journeys?
Well, just have your people be careful in moving them, because obviously they have very acidic matter inside of them. I wouldn't want anybody... That could change who could be affected by what.
Could we just throw their corpses into the ravines of our minds?
And there's plenty down there right now.
I think that should be fine. Again, I just try not to come in direct contact. I'm probably the most at risk right now, by that standard.
Should we perform a remove curse spell on you right now? I have a healer standing by if need be.
That might not be a bad idea.
Do you think you may have been affected by this thing?
I feel 90% sure that I wasn't.
I don't like the 10% that you're unsure
Right.
of.
And that's only because of the unknown that surrounds this ancient curse.
It's better safe than sorry. Do it.
He turns towards the guard in the room and he says, Goldia, can you please fetch Morgani for me? She is in the main chamber. Bring her here, and we'll have her have a look at Doc. He nods, and then he turns, and he walks out. He stands there kind of expectantly, looks around at you guys, and he says, is there anything else that we should note before this endeavor is over?
No, but before I get this curse removed, maybe I should close him up just to be safe.
Probably not a bad idea. Please, do what you need to do.
So Doc would go over, she would close him up again. She'd try to
Pull
give
the
it
pins and, like, suture him up.
Yeah.
Okay, so do
She
this.
yeah, but she's not worried about it looking nice. She just wants it to be tightly closed.
Yep, absolutely. So do me a favor, make a dexterity check for me, and do it with advantage because you have Cat's Grace on. Yep, no, it's fine. You only needed a 10 to do it. I mean, you already cut him open, so you know exactly where he's peeled apart, but goddamn your guys' rolls tonight. It's only when we get into combat that you constantly fucking roll nat 20s on me.
Everybody else do better than
Do not follow my example. Yeah, so you suture him up. The sutures are pretty rudimentary. Like, this guy's gonna, if he were to heal at this point, he'd have some really nasty scars, but, well, he's dead 2 ways from Sunday, and he has no head, so, you suture him up just fine. Yeah, you ain't bouncing back from that, bitch.
Okay, yeah, so once she knew that he was sufficiently closed, then she would move over and wait to accept the curse.
Okay, so behind you, on the map now, the doors open back up again, and entering the room, you find... So there is a female hill dwarf, very obviously hill dwarf. She's about 4 foot 3 inches tall with a slender frame, but she's very chestily busty, if I can say that and not sound totally cuckoo. She has golden hair pulled back into a tight bun, shin length white and gold robes, and a belt of chain link made of some sort of silver compound, off of which hangs dozens of golden dwarven runes. Yes, Lucy, she got tiggle bitties. God damn it.
She got tiggle bitties.
So, she walks in the room. The Aura Master nods to her. She looks down. around her neck, you see the holy symbol of Moradin, which is the large anvil it's a large anvil above which rests a hammer that is in the striking position with some golden streaks coming off the back of it as if it were being struck very forcefully. Very similar to what you guys saw in Beaufort. So, she comes in, she nods, you hear the Oremaster say, Mistress Runefall, our friend here, Doc, believes she may have been afflicted by a curse unintentionally during the autopsy of the Jvat. Could you please perform a remove curse ritual on her to ensure that we don't have any problems here in the city moving forward as she rejoins her friends in the house of the Dwarf Lord Tavern. Inn. She kind of nods and she says, I think I can probably do something about that. Sweetheart, would you mind coming over here and letting me see you in a little bit of the light? She holds her warhammer up and she whispers, La Mancari. And the head of the warhammer flashes with this golden light, and she kind of looks over your body. She kind of squints and looks at you. You look alright, but we'll perform a remove curse anyways. She slings the warhammer in a frog at her side, and she reaches out 2 fingers, and she touches, literally, instinctually you close your eyes, but she touches your eyelids, and as she does so, she draws them straight down to your chin, closes them quickly, puts them up, and then literally pops both of those fingers, the forefinger and the second finger, into your mouth. As she draws them back out, she's holding your tongue, and she flicks you in the nose, all the while performing this incantation. And as she does so, you feel this coldness wash over your body as you see Doc's body lurch forward. You see a dark energy, a purple and black energy, spin around her and into the palm of this woman. She closes her palm, snaps once. There's a single golden spark that flicks off of her palm, and she says, she's perfectly fine. No issues. No curse. The Overlord
Anymore?
The Overlord looks at you and says, no, there was no curse to begin with. She's perfectly fine.
Nice.
Okay.
And you see her kind of nod to you.
Okay. So there was no curse at all at the beginning of all of that?
She looks down at you and she says, no, little one, there was no curse. But it's a good thing you had us check, because that thing reeks of evil.
Yeah.
Also kind of reeks.
I will let the Aura Master explain whatever he feels he needs to explain, I guess. I did take notes. Do you mind if I copy them over so we each have them?
Please, be my guest. You don't have to do it here. Take it back to your... I'm assuming you have lodging here. Bring it back to your lodging and maybe see me before you leave and just drop the notes off. I'd like to see what they entail so that I could know if this creature shows back up, our people can be well defended against it.
Thank you. And she'll reach into the coin purse of the pocket plane and take out a gold and hand it over to the mistress, Runefall.
As you do so, she takes the gold and she kind of like looks into her palm and she glances at it and she smiles and she says, "Thank you, my child." And she holds it up to her mouth and she whispers something into her palm. And as she does so, you see that her palm glows almost fiery hot, forge red for just a moment. And she reaches over and she holds her hand out, or her palm out, closed, expectingly. And she reaches towards your currently open palm.
Okay.
She pops her... Whoopsie daisy, I just flicked my fucking tape measure. She flicks her palm or her hand open, and in drops into your hand a 300 gold piece diamond.
Okay.
And she says, "The dwarf lord doesn't need your charity, child, but thank you.
Thank
Be
you.
kind to others, and always follow the light of the forge wherever you go."
Thank you.
She turns at this point and she bows to everybody else in the room. Not full curtsy, but like a partial bow. Bow, 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 bow. And then she says, "If you'll excuse me, O Lord." And he says, "Please, thank you very much, Mr. Smogani." And she exits the chamber.
All right. So what do we want to do with the corpse now? We're just going to kind of.
Would you like us to take it out of here?
The dwarf lord kind of smiles and he says, "To be completely honest with you, I could toss it into one of my kilns and burn it to ash if you'd like, or I can..."
That would probably be best.
Burning it's probably not a bad idea. Just don't breathe the fumes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, yes, I will have my guardsman. He looks at the guards in the room and he says, "You heard the doctor. It's time to burn this bitch."
Would I have any red flags with that before I send them off to do that? Would there be any red flags in my mind about, a curse and burning, knowing the way that it...
That is a question that I can say can be answered like this. As a DM, figure it out because you've experienced burning things before in this campaign. Hashtag Bofer. However, not in a normal curse sense.
Okay.
It doesn't work quite like that. As far as the acidity is concerned with whatever was inside of it, if this dude's got fires that are as potent as you may think they are, they're just going to burn all of the acid out of this thing anyways, and it's going to go up a chimney flue and right out the top. And then rain down on the people of Underhill. You kids...
Probably fine.
Yeah, you dwarves like acid rain?
Doc will give like a little bow of her head at least to the Ore Master and say, "I truly appreciate everything. We'll definitely see you before we leave."
He nods his head and he says, "I know, because I'm going to be at your performance in a couple of days.
That's right.
More than that, I appreciate your presence here in Underhill, and I want you to know that wherever your adventures take you, so long as I'm in charge here, you are always welcome back.
Thank you.
You and your 3 friends. Though I would encourage you to keep a very close eye on your group's fallen angel."
I was gonna say I've got 2 friends and a bard.
Take care of yourself,
I've got a
Doc.
boyfriend.
Thank you.
Oh, I didn't realize you were an item. I wouldn't have talked such shit. Excuse me.
That's okay.
Oh, all right. Well, in that note... No, I'm just kidding.
That's sketchy.
Yes. Typically, when we see fallen angel here, we assume they're up to no good. So, I hope that is proven wrong, as I feel that anybody who has fallen from grace can refine themselves. They can rediscover who they truly are. And I do believe that through the power of Moradin or Garl Glittergold, your friend, Mr. Grey, can redeem himself and find his wings once more.
Well, I don't believe that is his intention. No, let me back that up. Well, I don't believe that's his conscious intention right now. I will say he has been far more loyal than I ever expected and has gotten us out of a couple of tight spots. So, as somebody who has dealt with stereotypes quite a bit,
As he glances around the room to the gnome, the halfling, and the goblin.
I understand completely where the mindset is of everybody who encounters him. I am keeping one eye on him, for sure. However, I think that there is more to him than we realize, and I'm hoping that it is more of a positive thing than a negative.
Very good. Well, take care of yourselves. I'm going to personally see to this creature being tossed into the furnaces of Moradin. And obviously, if there's anything you need of me, just let my guards out front know, and I'll see if I can be available for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you,
you
Armaster.
very much. I don't think you realize quite how much you've done for our people, so thank you. Yes, Aurora.
Yeah, Aurora's gonna kind of like awkwardly kind of speak up and say, who did you say that I should talk to?
Oh, yes, Mr. Smogani. Exit this hall, turn to the right, and then immediately south once you hit the crossroads. I assume you'll find her there.
And she'll say in Dwarven, thank you.
Okay, so what is everybody doing?
I think we would head out, or at least Doc would. She would like give a little head nod to each person. She walks out and say thank you to the guards that were in the room, and head back. She'd want to go back to the inn. That was quite a thing that we just did.
Yeah, and Ree would probably walk out with you. On the way out, though, we were like, "Hey, you kind of gave yourself a really hard knock with that one. It's, I mean, like I said, man, we all fuck up from time to time, you know. And that one is a weird fucking little dick of a creature, but you know, you're good at what you do, so you know, don't let that bother you. Only get you down."
Doc will stop for a second. And just like shake her head and smile. Ree, you are... I don't know how you are. I appreciate that you feel that way. Truly. But I feel like the past few weeks it's like I was a good surgeon. I wasn't a great rogue. I'm not really a great healer. And I was feeling pretty confident walking into that. So as far as being hard on myself, you know, that was an autopsy. Yeah, it was a new creature. You're right. But I've done those so many times, it shouldn't have. I don't know. I don't know if I'm not used to this body. I don't know if it's the tiny freaking hands. Or if it's, you know, I feel like I was faster and just like better before. I don't know. I appreciate what you're saying though. I do. I don't want to take away from that. You really are a good friend.
Just know you're good at what you do, and don't let a setback get you down. And I think we're both probably pretty ready for another round of ale or fire or whiskey. So we may as well. I know it's morning, but yeah, fuck it.
Hey, we paid 16 gold to stay there.
Fucking all right, man.
We should probably wait for Aurora. I'm not sure what she's doing, but it seems like she needs some privacy. And she may want, whatever she's doing, she might want some ale afterwards too. I will say this Meepo thing, she seems like she's a little freaked out, so maybe we don't bring it up. If we can help it, let her bring it up.
All right. I mean, I also get that too, man. I mean, that's creepy as fuck.
It is. It is kind of. I mean, I guess you have a talking goat.
Yeah, I got a talking goat. I should probably let him out.
It's a little creepy too.
No, I'm not gonna let him out in front of all these guards. They'll probably.
No, I don't do that.
Please do. No, do not. Okay, so before we jump to the Morgani Aurora conversation, Lucy, During this time, what is Gray doing?
Yeah, speaking of the talking shadow, Gray will actually be sitting on one side of the room where I guess the sun would shine directly on like his back and kind of like extend his shadow to the wall itself, giving him form.
Okay, and as you do so, the window pops open, no problem. It is, early morning. It's a pretty decently sunny day, and you feel the warm heat on your back as it casts your long shadow across the room and up the wall. And as it does so, you see your shadow remanifest itself into the familiar humanoid shadow, though kind of pseudo goat horned apparition that it typically takes form as. And it sits there quietly, almost as if it's watching you.
Gray's gonna, I guess, silently stare at it for a bit, and he's gonna eventually give like a sigh and go. So about what you said yesterday about the magically blue rock in the shortest care member's chest.
Yes, Mr. Gray. What exactly would you like to discuss regarding the small gem in your friend's heart?
Well, I have a few questions. First one being, do you know what it is?
Unfortunately, Mr. Gray, I am not entirely sure. Though I am aware that it does hold some sort of magical affinity.
I was informed that it's some kind of creature called Meepa, or Meepa? I can't remember what it's
Peepa? Peepa?
PP.
called. But that's beside the point. You wanted me to get it from her. Don't suppose you have a plan on how to do this?
Have you considered cutting it out of her chest, Mr. Gray?
Gray's gonna stare at the shadow straight up, and he's going to say, I've known you for a long time. You've helped me many, many times. And if I were to choose between them and you, you'd win every time. But I will not bloody my hands to it. I refuse to kill. If she dies, I'll obviously try and persuade them to give me it. But I refuse to bloody my blade.
Mr. Gray, that is entirely admirable of you. And I understand your reasonings, as I understand why you fell from grace. Allow me to investigate this friend of yours just a little bit more, and perhaps I can discern the nature of the crystal and better help you obtain it, should you see it necessary, without bloodying your own blade.
We can do that. I'll happily take the chance to increase my. Is there anything I can do to assist in this?
See to it that the she-beast, regardless of her current name, comes into situations that would befall her situations that she may not bounce back from, not by your hands, but by the hands of her enemies. And I swear to you, Mr. Gray, that I will exploit every weakness I find.
Very well. I'm okay with this. If there's a chance that I'll be discovered, I'm not gonna take it. As you're well aware, a group like this doesn't come around often. First time I met this group, I nearly died just from being around them. The boy came in contact with them in the same town, and he ended up dead as well. A wraith was chasing the dwarf for some reason. A ship landed in a druid forest. Trouble follows these people. It's amazing. I love every bit of it.
Mr. Gray, do you know why the ship fell from the sky? Do you know why trouble follows these people? Do you know why I know more than you?
I'd expect you to know more. But as well, I believe as for the ship, I know about as much as any of us can. The dragon and Ulthraxian attacked it. Other than that, I'm afraid I...
Yes, you're right. There was a dragon. And its name is Nolthraxian, which I very dangerously whisper even in my own realm. This creature, this dragon, was born gold, scales as thick and hard as gold until its ancient days, Mr. Gray, until it felt the temptations of the Shadowfell and felt itself pulled into the throng of evil and darkness before it began to corrupt those around it. Mr. Gray, do you understand now that this creature feeds on those around it because it, too, was lost?
It's a good thing I have you to guide my way. Now, on to a more lighthearted topic. I wouldn't be me without a few schemes of my own.
You have learned well, Mr. Gray. Share with me your pleasurable delights in the form of scheming.
I'm not sure how well you work, but you accepted me, and that's great. Now, there's supposedly a very large crowd coming this Monday for a show I'm putting on.
It is extremely large. I can feel their pull and their presence even now, Mr. Gray. I could tell you down to the body how many people will be there. They want you. They need you. They feel you, Mr. Gray.
Well, I have a few ideas. One of which I thought would be best currently is finding, I guess, another to join our ranks. Find, I guess, one with, like you called me, potential. Begin spreading, I guess, chaos in that way. And Gray is gonna give like a small evil smile at that.
continue.
I figured as I told my story, I don't know how much control you have in this realm, but you could, I guess, set a feel out. See who could have potential. I'll try my best to push them on the right.
Interesting, Mr. Gray. So you want me to sow the seeds of chaos so that you can feel the fruits of evil reaping upon the realm. Oh, that is decadent. That is special, Mr. Gray. Is that what I'm understanding?
Exactly.
Allow me to rest on this, Mr. Gray, as I think you're onto something. If we could pull somebody into our throng and allow them to branch out, will you maintain the manipulation of a master amongst your own peers? I could continue to whisper the secrets of sages upon your sweet and delicate ears, while the dragon Northraxian rules over the realm.
Now, as for this very performance, I wouldn't like to make a fool of myself before that. I'd like to like help increasing the illusions. That extra.
Mr. Gray, what help or assistance could you possibly need with illusions? I've taught you all of the tricks, the traps, the tropes. What is it exactly you need from old me?
Sorry, I let go of my button. I meant to say out of character. This was just a kind of a thing I wanted to save because I picked up the major illusion spell and greater invisibility. So I was like, figured this could be like his way of, I guess, getting them. A little training.
Okay, understood. So you want training on the, did you say greater invisibility or just invisibility?
I got greater invisibility.
Okay, so greater invisibility, and you said major illusion?
Major image. Or
Major image, okay.
Yeah, major image.
Understood. So, disregard that last very small interaction. He says,
You, Mr. Gray, are a master storyteller, there is no doubt. However, I think there are more fleeting images about. So listen closely to what I have to say, because your master is always here to stay. Invocanis arcanium dafenadus.
and he begins to go into this long incantation and this slur of arcane syllables, and you innately, almost as if you are a maestro of a choir, of a full cathedral full of performers, of musicians and choir singers, you go into these throes of gestures and this audible incantation. As you do so, you feel yourself, first of all, fade from existence. And as you do so, you look around and you look down at your hands and at your feet and at your head, and you notice that, yes, you have faded from existence as far as your current realm of reality is concerned. More than that, it is of a higher tier than your normal invisibility is concerned, and as you slam your fist against the wall, which would normally break your invisibility and your concentration, does not do so. You then follow it up with another incantation, which the shadow continues to perform for you, again in a very performing, 4-measure or a 4-note measure style, you feel the magic come to a head, and the entirety of the interior of your room transforms from the wooden confines of the, I think it's a 6 or 7 room. I think actually I'm almost positive it's a 6-room in room to that of a tranquil forest, and that forest immediately shifts to an interior tent that looks almost identical to that of Archdruid Nightbreeze's personal quarters. And as you sit down, you feel the warmth of the fire, the smell of the cloves and the orange peels wafting up and out of the fire in their small leather bags into your nose. And you look around and you hear the crackles of the fire, and you hear the very quiet murmuring of druids on the outside of the tent, but distant, maybe 200-300 yards from you. And you realize that you have mastered 2 new forms of arcane magic. And you hear the shadow creep into your head once more as the illusions both fade from you.
That was perfection, Mr. Gray. Perfection. You already know what you need to do for your performance. And you will call the masses to you, and you will beg the performances out of them for days, weeks, months, and eventually millennia, Mr. Gray. You will call them to you, and the bards of days long told will never forget your performances, because you are a new master.
Gray's gonna smile and kind of go, yes, thank you. I'll use these lessons well. Now, I better get back to practicing so I can put them true good use.
It's always a blessing to learn your lines. Magic aside, Mr. Gray. So good on you for understanding the basics.
And as that laugh fades into the distance, you see the curled over horns of your mentor kind of shrink down into your own shadow and then fade from existence as you feel his presence fade.
I think one last thing before we go back to Aurora is, before he starts practicing again, he's going to probably look over to Aurora's bed and go, it's nothing personal, but there's only one person I trust, and it's a shadow. That's going to be the end.
Go ahead and slap an inspiration point onto your character sheet for me, and you can carry that into next game if you'd like to. That's very good.
Is Gray the big bad in this one?
I have thought it like 5 or 6 fucking times, and I'm not sure where this guy's going with his character. Look, I'm just playing the people behind the scenes. I don't
All
know.
I have to say is this.
Yeah. Yo, bitch, you know I can assassinate you like 3 ways from Tuesday.
You're the last one. It's you.
Yeah, I'm thinking more arrows need to find his neck, probably sooner than I planned.
Whoops, I slipped.
This is what you get for not killing him the first shot.
Well,
You
he
fired a
is
warning shot. Yeah, that is true. He is actually...
I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
I totally forgot. His ass is the only one still technically and legally wanted in Middleton.
Did not forget.
I haven't forgotten either.
I haven't forgotten either. I'm on borrowed time.
Now you got your own fucking money to pay with asshole.
I was going to say, I'm not going to lie. I actually did forget until you mentioned it right now, and I was like, oh, fuck, if they go back to Middleton, I gotta arrest Lucy. Or Lucy's gonna just greater invisibility his happy ass right through the fucking center of town and be like, fuck you.
Or change appearance. I still have that spell.
Look, you got a lot of tricks at your
I have a
disposal.
disguise kit now.
You might as well not be wanted. I mean, at this point, right? Every time you walk into a town where you're wanted, I just take 5 spell slots from you, and you're like, fuck it, I'm good. Okay. Anyways, Aurora. So just so you guys know, we only have about 20 minutes left. I want to make sure that we are out of here within this next 20 minutes, but I would like to get this RP in. So, Aurora, during this time, you walk down the stairwell, and, Lucy, you do not have to thank me for indulging you. Thank you for indulging me in character development. That's what you just did.
Shit.
That's fucking, goddamn. So you walk down the stairwell. It's dusty. It's musty. It's crusty. Actually, I take that back. You walk up the stairwell. This is actually a slightly elevated room. Inside, you find what you see in the room in front of you, and what it is essentially a large library with 6 marble columns that stretch through the center of the room and hold the roof aloft. On the far western side of the table, which is in front of you, stands this woman. Give me a sec to grab her information. She is a female hill dwarf, very obviously hill dwarf. She's about 4'3". She's very slender in frame, though she's very busty in the chest. She's got chesticles. She has very bright golden hair, which scream youth, pulled back into an extremely tight bun to the point where any wrinkles on her forehead have been pulled upwards and held tight. She has shin-length white and golden robes with a belt of thick chain link all the way around, off of which hang dozens of golden dwarven runes. You speak Dwarven. Those dwarven runes are actually all symbols of Moradinian prayers that start specific incantations, including bless, cure light wounds, guidance, bane, heat metal, and mending. And you are confident in that. As you enter, she kind of looks out at you and she nods ever so slightly, and she says, "The Ore Master has told me that there are probably a couple of things, if not at least one thing, that you need to discuss with me, my child. Is that correct?"
She takes just that moment to kind of like find her spine again, and then she's gonna be in Dwarven for the duration of this.
Okay, as you do that, she switches completely to Dwarven as well.
Yes, came as a bit of a surprise, but the Ore Master said you may be able to help with, shall we say, an unusual bit of circumstances?
Yes, my child. Take your gloves off for me and approach the table, if you wouldn't mind. And you realize the accent changes because in her dwarven form, she does speak more articulately than in her common form. Much like Ree from Common to Goblin.
Yeah, I still love that. She's gonna do so. She does wince a little bit as the lever scrapes over the acid burn. But she does her best to hide that, because you don't show weakness, especially in front of dwarves. And yeah, she'll approach.
Make a deception check for me, please.
Oh no. Well, I am not hiding that well. That was another one that was turned into something else.
To be fair, you've got a really good deception check. I rolled a 12, but I had a -1, so I only rolled an 11, but I still succeeded. So she sees you. You don't notice her see you wince, but she looks down, and as you approach with the wince, like, oh shit, these acid burns are terrible, she grabs onto the top of your left hand, and she pulls it over. And she is strong. It is like a man's, like a gorilla's grip, like a male gorilla, just bam, palm. She pulls you over to the table. She lets her hand up and she looks down at you. She then closes your hand again and she looks you in the eyes and she says, I'm so sorry it hurt you. And she whispers an incantation, and you gain 7 hit points.
Yeah, that fully heals everything. If you
Perfect.
do very well now.
So as that happens, there is a wave, a rush of energy that climbs up your hand and into your shoulder. And as it does so, you look back down and you see the bubbling of the acid, like sizzle down into normal flesh, completely scab over, and the scabs peel off and just turn to dust. She says, I don't think we can have that happening if we're going to discuss this. And she flips your hand over and looks down at the white scales.
Well, they weren't affected by the whatever was inside that thing, so that was a learning experience.
May I ask you a few questions about what exactly happened as far as your scales are concerned?
She instantly looks a little guarded, but go ahead.
She reaches out again, and she, with her right hand this time, and she touches your palm, dead center, and she mutters a very quick incantation, and she draws a singular rune. Oh, she's so sweet. I want to pet that baby girl. And she mutters an incantation. She draws this rune, and as she does so, your whole body flashes with this blue light, and you see her eyes glow blue, and she begins to study you. She does not look at your hand. She looks at the rest of your body. Her eyes flicker and then fade, and she says, there is magic within the crystal that resides within your chest. May I perform another incantation on you, my child?
As long as it won't hurt the crystal.
It should not hurt the crystal. This incantation is very particular, and it just allows me to identify what resides within your being.
She's going to inwardly ask Meepo if Meepo minds, because Meepo may want to stay hidden.
Okay, here's something that I do not do very often. Make a charisma check.
That's true. That doesn't happen often.
That does not. It is not something that happens very often. Just make a charisma check.
I'm looking at my charisma, and this is not going to go well. Holy fuck, yes it is.
What the fuck? You rolled a goddamn 18? Wow. Okay, so
Maybe you go on Monday?
He's your stand-in.
you feel an overwhelming. So there's a pulse of adrenaline that is released within your being. That adrenaline very quickly calms into a serotonin level of pleasure and joy that make you feel like, yes, this is okay.
She's going to exhale suddenly in shock, and then take a beat. Yeah, go ahead.
So she traces a rune on your palm. She grabs your hand with all fingers interlocking as if you were in a girlfriend hand grasp, like you were holding hands for the first time. And she pulls it close to her chest, and then she leans down towards you and she whispers an incantation into your ear. And you don't understand what it means, but you catch the last word, which you've never said this word out loud to this woman, but she says, Meepo, in Dwarven. And as she puts her head down to your chest, you feel her ear touch just above your left breast. And she listens for 4 or 5 beats. And then she lets go. And she lets go of your hand. And she puts her both hands around the back of your head, and she kneels to where her head level is actually lower than yours in a semi-submissive state. And she says, my child, the item that resides within your chest. It is magical in nature, but it is more special than that. He is sentient within you. He can hear and feel your pains and your pleasures, your anguish, your angst, your joy, everything. He is one with you. He is blending within your spirit. And the whispers he has sent to me tell me that he is offering you opportunity within the art of sorcery, should you ever choose to accept it. But he wants me to tell you very particularly that there is no pressure whatsoever from here until you both see dust.
He knows everything. He senses everything. He gets to live through me, I guess.
He literally exists vicariously through you, and he is so happy. And he thanks you. You, and I don't know his past, but he thanks you for true, unadulterated freedom.
Thank you. And she looks visibly just incredibly overwhelmed by that, and she's processing, and it's just brain cannot process that at the moment.
So she stands, and she takes 4 or 5 full steps back, and she places her hand down on the chain link belt that she's wearing, and she grabs one of the runes and she pulls it around front, and she whispers a soft incantation, and you feel a glow kind of encompass your body as you feel the effects of a bless spell kind of guide your spirit and guide your heart, and you feel the warm presence, the warm forge-like presence of Moradine enter your chest. And it's not imposing. It is just offering if you need it.
My initial reaction was to crack a joke about how many presences are going to be there.
I mean, that's pretty fair.
She's gonna take a couple of deep breaths and then like do the emotional like isolation, like, okay, this is big, I will process this later. So take another deep breath and then okay. So the scales are not, I take it they're part of this opportunity. Any idea why or how far or really why?
Are you asking me why this entity has been placed within you?
That one I think I understand. At least somewhat. No, it's mostly the why the melding and the how far it will go.
Aha. Yes, you're talking about the medical side of things. It will only ever go as far as you will allow. Should you ever choose to accept the heart of the white dragon, sorcerer, Your body may see many scales form. But until then, he promises to only hold himself within the palm of your left hand, which was the hand that he claims broke the chains of his own slavery and his own salvation.
That is one profound little kobold. How, if I were to want to explore that opportunity more, how would I even begin?
She smiles, and she kneels again, and she reaches her arms out towards your face, and then she kind of goes wide of your face, and she creeps the hands back around to the back of your head, and you feel her hands, and you're apprehensive because, I mean, you're fucking Aurora. Of course you're like, bitch, what are you doing? I would assume. And as she kind of like drags her fingers through your hair very gently, she is extremely gentle in all ways, shapes, and form. But as she does so, she flicks your ears on both earlobes, and she says, "You only needn't but listen. Listen, and all will be told to you, because this sweet boy has all the information of decades worth of sorcerous knowledge wrapped up into his very being, available for you should you choose. And he wants me to tell you that if that is not what you choose, he still loves you, and he still thanks you for his freedom."
She's gonna look for words, not find the words that she needs to describe the everything going on in her brain. So she's just gonna shut her mouth again and nod.
She stands up again, and she kind of looks down at you a little bit more sternly this time, and she says, I want you to know that regardless of what any of your companions, past or present, have ever said about you, or have ever spoken to your character about, I forgive you. And you need to know that. You are good. There is good within you. And I thank you for what you've done for our people here in Underhill, Aurora. And then you hear, kind of in the back of your mind, kind of fizzle out of existence.
Sorry, was that a very concerning sounding she?
Yup.
Okay.
She knows you very well.
Oh, this bitch knows!
I do want to do something really quick. I know we have to respect Lucy's time, but I had something I wanted to say as Doc to Ree before we're done.
Okay, understood. Really quick before, just so I can finish up the Aurora Morgani. So she says, I will be at your friend's performance on Monday. Will you be there?
If not immediately there, then probably nearby listening in.
As will I. If you need to seek me out for further answers, I'll be here. But until then, you should get rest. You're weary. I can see that within your bones. Come find me if you need more guidance, but I think I've given you everything I can. And more than that, if I cannot provide you with guidance, he can. Aurora. Thank you.
She smiles and kind of dips her head a little bit. And then she's going to not stick around for Midwestern goodbyes, and she's going to leave.
She says, it's so funny because Cass,
do the Midwestern goodbye all the time.
we do it non-fucking stop. God, Saturday D&D games. Okay, see you later. All right, fucking 2.5 hours later. Boom. All right, hey, take care here now. Okay, all right, bye.
No time for new conversations. Leave.
I've been gone right away the past 2 times.
It's true. You have
That's
to.
by
I think it was a
default.
good thing.
That's by default. You're the one we want to hang around. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we want everybody to hang out. But no,
That's
you're
true.
okay.
Yeah, we want everybody to hang out. Just sometimes we have to grab the kids. Okay, so we'll pause here on that that beat with you moving out of the Ore Master's fortress. Candace, yes, to Re.
Right. So before.
As you are on your route back to the House of the Dwarf Lord Inn.
Yeah. So Doc would say, Lee, I could have, if I needed it, any amount of money, any item, any food, drink, whatever, just from where I'm from. But I really want you to understand that the value of your friendship is incomparable to what I could have. The fact that you kind of rushed to my ego, I guess, after that horrid failure in there speaks volumes to your character. And I hope that someday I can make you feel like you have come into as much treasure as I have.
No. It's gonna fucking make me cry in front of all these fucking guards. God. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you are by far my best friend, even though you did kill me. But
I didn't do it very well.
no, you didn't. But
You're
you know what?
strong, boy.
Yeah. I mean, well, one thing you can be proud of doing poorly is killing your friends.
It's true.
You're bad at killing your friends, and that's good. So that's one thing you can be proud about being bad at.
I mean, honestly, I know that friendship is one of the key factors to us winning this insane fight that we're going into, and I think that even if it was just you and me, we would succeed. So, I really do appreciate everything you've done and the trust that you have in me. I told you I didn't belong anywhere before, so I really need you to know that, one, killing you was difficult not only because it was difficult, but because it sucked. But also, you guys suck, man.
I'm sorry. Now you know how I feel when you guys are fucking chatting when I'm talking.
But also,
You take it.
you know, I will always do what I can to make sure that you come out alive, even if it means I don't.
And same goes to you, and all the rest. Garl put me in this path in this group to keep all you fucking weirdos alive. I feel like I'm here to protect you the best I can. So, you know what? We'll make a promise that we protect each other no matter what. All right? Okay. Let's not die anymore.
That sounds like a really good plan.
All right, guys. I think this is an excellent point to call it for tonight. I have a lot of notes on this fucking this session 48 note card that I have, and every single one of my notes ends with grant inspiration plus. So why don't we all take a DM inspiration and we will carry all of those inspirations over until next week's game,
you.
which will be post Thanksgiving. It'll be Small Business Saturday. Small Business Saturday. Or small. No, God, there's nothing on Sunday. Never mind. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Apparently, I'm like Small Business Sunday. There is no Sunday, you jackass. Stabby Sunday. Did you say? Oh yeah. Thank you. Yes. So anyways, we'll carry all of those over. Everybody gets an inspiration point. Anybody can use it anytime next weekend. If you use it before you are granted an additional one, you can use 2 in the same session.
Thank you.
So, yeah, no, I mean, you guys, seriously, the notes I have taken tonight have just been fucking fantastic. I'm actually already excited to look back at the VOD to see what went down between Gray and Gray's mentor, because holy shit, that was intense.
That got intense, yeah.
Yeah.
See, thanks for clarifying that we're friends outside of D&D.
Lucy's like, I'm gonna derail this motherfucker, and we're playing the chaotic evil campaign,
Like,
assholes.
glad we're not friends then. I'm just kidding, Candace. I love
Yeah.
you.
Rage against the what is it? Rise against the Dragon Queen. And by the way, we're playing the evil cultists.
I do want to say that the nothing personal, but I like my shadow more. Like that
was a good
was
line.
fantastic.
That is hands down one of the funniest
That's
fucking
funny.
things.
Also,
I did
I kind of hate the fact that like Lucy, it is the thing that is giving Aurora a heart, and the thing that is
Huh?
stripping her of it are both your
What do you mean you're
fucking
redeemed it?
fault.
I redeemed it.
Oh, what is it? Who is it?
Yeah, my bad. People was fun.
Ah, oh, Ark. Oh wait, hang on. What do I have to do? Teaching gamers?
Yeah. If they're playing D&D.
Also,
Okay.
I didn't know that my guy was related to the dragon. Figure that out now.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if my cult will be related to the dragon. We'll see what happens.
Well, we gonna fucking find out, aren't we?
Thanks for another great session, guys. It's always
Yeah, that
wonderful.
was awesome.
Always great.
Lucy, get some sleep.
Yeah,
You got school tomorrow, boy.
Honestly, I might stay home. Cold.
Oh, no.
I don't even want to hear about cold in England. Well, you know what? I say cold in England, and then I correct myself immediately because cold in England is, yeah, that's bad business. Oh, you're getting a cold, did you say, Lucy?
Yeah, also it is very fun.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I figured it was cold in England. I didn't realize you said you
That
were
would
getting
be
a cold.
the
I
weirdest
apologize.
excuse not to go to school.
Yeah, isn't that right?
It's cold outside.
Yeah, you know what? It's about 74 degrees. I usually do around 85 to 90, so fuck it. Okay. On that note, though, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and raid. I don't know who slapped it, but I have teaching gamers. So
I think it's Candace.
It was me.
was
yeah,
it Candace?
yeah.
Why, where the fuck did you find these
I
people?
don't remember. I think they got suggested to me, so I want to see if they're good.
Okay, so we have 4 women who are teachers in America who are also gamers in America, and I'm totally down with what they're doing. Their map is cool. I fucking hate their character models
Yeah,
already.
the models aren't
It
great. Maybe
is
they can
terrible.
Take some advice.
Well, we gonna find out. Okay, my friends, we'll see you next week on Sunday, and then I promise you this week I will send a message about the Christmas and New Year's event situation, because obviously we've got some things to discuss.
Bye, everyone.
Alright, good night.
Good night, everybody.
Aurora, I love that disease.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that reminds me too. By the way, Lucy, you got lucky. You were begging for another week. You get another 7 fucking days to bick out. Yeah. This is how you do it, bitch.
Also, stop giving people hype. I don't want to add more to my story.
You got people hyped. You motherfucker. Hold up. No, I did not get people hyped. You got fucking people hyped.
Not you, Xavier. Fucking advertising this stuff.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah, I rolled those dice already, by the way, and yeah, there are gonna be a lot of people there. Okay, anyways, we're jumping in. Thanks for hanging out, guys. We'll see you next week, and have a great week at work.
Hey, you too. Oh, I don't have